and how are you doing? I hope you're having a good weekend so far. Welcome to another stream. Today we're going to be looking at the world of perpetual motion machine scams, perpetual energy machines, perpetual energy generators. They go by a few different names, but either way, they're all as impossible as each other and all very funny. So we're going to be looking at some of those scams and the people who perpetuate them. So should be fun. Should be a pretty good stream. For the hats off, purple witch hat, can do. Oh. There. Because perpetual motion is magic or something. Did I do it? Is it a bit now instead of just a stupid hat? I actually like this hat. This is my favorite hat out of the costume hats. Makes me feel witchy. I like it. Anyway, so let's see what's going on in chat. How's everyone doing? Trey, thank you for 62 months. One away from the next sub, baby. I can feel the quickening. And, of course, we had that hats off. I didn't mean to stop the music. There we go. It's a little bit in the background now. So, if you want to help support the stream, we are at the end of the month. Only a couple days left in the month. So if you want, it would be very helpful if anyone wants to support the show, to gift subs or subscribe themselves. Other than that, if you're on YouTube, like the stream. Cool beans. Hey, Amber. I'm good. How y'all be? Alright, we can just get into it, shall we? Let's start with this 11-minute video. This is, called Oil Companies Game Over, Malcolm Bendel's Free Energy Generator 2024 Invention of the Year. And this is from a channel that peddles in a lot of woo-woo nonsense devices, lots of perpetual motion, stuff like that. Lance, thanks for 23 months, says, damn, where does the time go? Potentially making moves in my career that will take me my commute from 15 minutes to an hour one way, but should double my pay and get me out of Indiana. Oh, nice. By the way, I posted a Jewish org to the mutual aid channel of the Discord that's offering 10K interest-free loans to queer people escaping red states. It's through Kashet Hebrew Free Loan Society of New York. Oh, hell yeah. That's nice. Cool beans. On YouTube, free energy actually does exist. It's called solar power, and we should use it more. I agree we should use solar power more, but it's not perpetual motion. And it's not entirely free. You gotta put money into the device, but I get it. Yes, solar is awesome, and I think it's great. Amber says, woohoo, just applied for an HRT grant. If we get it, it'll pay for the next 12 months starting in September. That would be incredible for y'all. I know you've been stressed out about that. Alright, so let's jump into it. Oh, he calls this the Thunderstorm generator? I'll get this joke out of the way. The main joke that gets made about perpetual motion or energy machines is the most difficult part about building a perpetual motion machine is where to hide the batteries. And that's pretty much what you're going to see here today, is people bringing out generators and stuff that they strapped some other shit to, and then claiming that nothing is powering the generator. Lance with 100 bits says, in a little extra for reading all that wall of text. Thank you. Yes, that's an actual generator. I don't know what his specific claims are yet. I haven't watched this video other than skimming it.
Greetings, everyone. Well,
yeah, this little ball thing, I'm assuming, is what he's claiming is the part that makes it perpetual motion. Look it! I welded a ball! Did we do it?
welcome to this exciting video about the biggest achievement of 2024, the revolutionary Thunderstorm device created by inventor Malcolm Bendel.
He's wearing a hard hat. Do you not trust him? Look at the lab coat. Obviously he's legitimate. You can't just buy those things on Amazon. You can. Hydrate.
This incredible technology has the power to provide free energy for your home
It's all AI voices now? Oh yeah, the internet's a nightmare.
and business.
That's why you should stay following me, by the way. I'm a human. I've been on the internet since like 2012. Zero chance I'm AI. I'm the only one you can trust. Okay, not necessarily that's true, but you know, I'm a real person, so that's good. Make sure you stay with these streams. I'm a person. Mr. Duck Sauce, thanks for a 3-stream streak, says, hard hat but no safety glasses. Have you considered that he's invented perpetual eyes that don't require protecting?
And it's
Didn't think of that, did you?
something we all need to learn more about. We'll dive deep into how this device works, why it's a game changer, and why we need to support inventors like Malcolm before their innovations are suppressed. Let's get started. Malcolm Bendall is a brilliant young engineer and
What I don't understand is there's often the narrative within these communities that try to tout or invent perpetual energy machines. They'll claim that, like, big oil will never allow this technology to get out, which I understand the incentives you're talking about there. Energy sectors would be incentivized to try and keep this under wraps, but there are also 10,000 other industries that would benefit from this, and there are more of those than there are the energy ones. Just saying, there'd be incentive on the other side for plenty of people who want this, just as much as there would be people trying to stop it.
visionary who has dedicated his life to solving the world's energy crisis. Growing up, he was fascinated by the potential of alternative energy sources and became determined to find a way to harness the power of nature for the benefit of humanity. After years of tireless research and experimentation, Malcolm's big breakthrough came in 2024 with the creation of the Thunderstorm device. The Thunderstorm device is a groundbreaking invention that generates free, clean energy using a process called plasmoid fusion.
Plasmoid fusion. That's a new one. H-Baird says, zero chance you're AI. That's exactly what an AI would say. Check this box to prove you aren't a robot. I can't check it. It doesn't let me. It's just a square. I'm clicking it, though. Oh, and then I clicked the thing that came up after that. Oh.
By harnessing the power of plasma, the fourth state of matter, the Thunderstorm device is able to produce a continuous
Plasma's really big in, like, I don't even want to call them alt-science, pseudoscience communities right now. The medbed people I'm working on the video on have the plasma thing. I don't know why. Did conspiracy theorists just learn about plasma like a month ago? I really don't understand what's been going on with that.
flow of
Say the password. A second plane has hit the femboy.
electricity without any fuel or emissions. This means you can
To be fair, if I built an AI, you think I wouldn't tell it the password?
power your home or business indefinitely without paying a single utility.
Literally, it looks like he put a bunch of, like, what are those? They're like metal things you use to scrape, like, pots and pans. Brillo pads. It looks like he stuck a bunch of fucking Brillo pads in a tube and called it a day.
Bill. The core of the Thunderstorm device is a specialized chamber where high-voltage electrical currents are used to ionize the air, creating a stable, self-sustaining plasma reaction. This plasma
But what's reacting? Like, you would need a fuel to react. Like, you're just saying it's the air? You're just combusting the air? How? With what energy? How are you doing that?
or plasmoid, generates its own magnetic field that interacts with the device's architecture to produce a powerful electrical current. It's a truly revolutionary process that defies conventional understanding of energy production. Plasmoid fusion is a cutting-edge scientific phenomenon that is only now being fully understood. Plasma, the fourth state of matter after solid, liquid, and gas, is an ionized gas that behaves in unique ways. When subjected to intense electrical fields, plasma can form self-contained, self-sustaining.
Okay, where are you getting the electric field? Do you see the problem? You need an input! Just a Peach says, I'm now a little behind. I love how they keep saying this young inventor like a 40-year-old is an 18-year-old.
Plasmoid.
think you can tell the target demographic of the audience for this kind of stuff. One of the other devices we're going to be looking at today is called the Liberty Engine. So you can tell the demographic they're going for with these. A lot of the victims of these scams are like prepper types, militia types, the kind of people that don't like being tied to an electric grid, you know? And yeah, it would be ideal if everyone could have their own little power generator at their house. Not very efficient, but like, yeah, you could do that in some hypothetical future, I guess. But they want it now, and they want it so they don't have to interact with other human beings. So they tend to kind of go towards that demographic.
Plasmoids that exhibit strange properties like levitation and the ability to store large amounts of energy.
I feel like we want to go back to the levitation point. I think that's maybe a little more prescient and important to, like, this device than the other thing.
The Thunderstorm device harnesses these properties to generate free, limitless electricity. The Thunderstorm device offers numerous advantages over traditional energy sources. First and foremost, it provides completely free, renewable energy with zero emissions or environmental impact. There are no fuel costs, no grid connection fees, and no worries about fluctuating energy prices.
Just bubbles. See those bubbles? That's how you know it's working.
It's a true game changer for both residential and commercial consumers. Additionally, the device is highly scalable, meaning it can be adapted to power everything from a small home to an entire town or city. Despite the incredible potential of the Thunderstorm device, Malcolm Bendall has faced immense challenges in bringing this technology to market. As an independent inventor, he has had to overcome skepticism from the scientific establishment, resistance from the fossil fuel industry, and even threats to his safety. Powerful forces have tried to bury his invention.
I like that they're showing the energy generating from this thing. I'm sure that there's energy coming out of that generator. It's just not from the device that he claims he invented. It's literally a generator he strapped it to. It's like the world's shittiest magic trick. Remember that Dave the Barbarian bit where he's like, with the power of a squirrel, some tape, and a megaphone, Dave constructs a megaphone. And it's just a megaphone with a squirrel taped to it for no reason. That's kind of what these are like. With the power of my amazing device, some tape, and a generator, I've built a generator. Like, they just strapped a bullshit thing to an actual thing.
Fearing the disruption it would cause to the traditional energy monopoly. Unfortunately, the story of
Carpcosian says, I was hanging out with my mom at a Disney Pride night and she put the TV on in the hotel and we got this prepper commercial over and over for 4 Patriots, and I explained to her how they were a scam company and she's going around telling everyone how it's bullshit. Oh, that's good.
of Malcolm Bendall and the Thunderstorm device is not unique. Throughout history, there have been numerous examples of groundbreaking free energy technologies that have been actively suppressed or even eliminated. Inventors like Nikola Tesla, Stanley Myers, and many others have faced intimidation.
That's so funny. Listening Tesla was a crackpot in his later life, but like he actively was an actual scientist who helped develop like alternating current and stuff. But the other guy's just another perpetual motion scammer, so that's kind of funny.
Lawsuits and even mysterious deaths after developing devices that could provide free, unlimited power. This pattern of suppression is a major obstacle for innovators like Malcolm. It's crucial that we, as a society, do more to
be clear, he's not that innovative. This isn't even an original scam. Remember Maxwell Chikumbutso that I showed you guys when the last time we covered perpetual energy machines? He's still out there scamming. He's far from the first.
Support independent inventors and protect them from the forces that seek to undermine their work.
14 PAP upgraded steel scrubbers. Yeah, oh yeah, it does kind of look like that. I wonder if it's literally that. That would be very funny. I hope it is.
These visionaries are the key to solving our energy and environmental challenges, and we can't afford to let their ideas be silenced. By raising awareness, providing...
Wait, was that not measuring, like, CO2 levels coming out of it? Okay, wait, what? If you're saying there's no fuel, then where's the CO2 reaction, where's the CO2 coming from? If he's saying there's no fuel and it's not combusting, where is the CO2 coming from? I guess he's already claiming a perpetual motion machine. I guess if he wanted, he could just claim it's a perpetual CO2 machine as well. Which, by the way, that's not good. That's a climate change issue. But okay, whatever.
Let their ideas be silenced. By raising awareness, providing funding and resources, and standing up to those who would seek to suppress free energy technology, we can help ensure that innovations like the Thunderstorm device reach the people who need them most. Despite the challenges he has faced, Malcolm Bendall remains steadfast in his vision for a world powered by free, clean energy. He believes that the Thunderstorm device is just the beginning, and that with the right support and resources, he and other inventors can develop even more revolutionary technologies to transform the way we power our lives. Malcolm's dream is to see his invention in every home and business, providing limitless energy and freeing humanity from the constraints of the traditional energy grid. As we all know, the world is facing a major energy crisis. Fossil fuels are becoming increasingly scarce and expensive, while the impacts of climate change are becoming more severe. We need to find new sustainable ways to power our homes, businesses, and communities. The Thunderstorm device is a crucial part of the solution, offering a way to provide affordable, renewable energy to everyone. In addition to the cost savings...
Okay, I'm moving on from the AI one. The AI shit annoys the fuck out of me. Let's get some homegrown scammers. I know I had one guy who did his own promo I wanted to show. Where was he? That guy was one. It's not the one I was looking for, though. I mean, this is the same guy, so that wouldn't be too bad. What about this one? This is also the Thunderstorm generator. Where was the one I wanted to show you first? Because I thought I was originally showing you a different one. Here it is, okay.
We thought the only way to deliver electrical power to our home or business was to connect to our great American electrical grid. America continues to grow as a...
To be clear, I don't know, this voice might be AI. It's from 8 months ago, but I think the guy actually talks in this. It's like a promo made by an actual guy.
People, power demands, expanding cities, but the aging infrastructure is not keeping up. Imagine you can produce the power you need where you consume it. No fossil fuels, no heat, no combustion. Power
no heat?
4 hours a day.
I know that's pretty necessary for like a perpetual motion machine because you lose energy to heat and noise and stuff, so it would be a temperature neutral silent machine, which is nonsense.
7 days a week, 365 days a year. A zero grid solution powered by the Earth engine.
Oh, he's calling it an Earth engine.
And imagined an...
I see the Earth engine in 5 years not just being a replacement for your typical power usage, but literally being a replacement for every single thing that needs some sort of motor to run it.
It's capable of producing power without any pollution, without using any finite resources. It's amazing technology.
I personally, and I say this sincerely, I am honored and blessed to be able to be part of a team, a community of people who all have the same thought, the same desires, the same hopes, the same dreams of accomplishing something that's going to change the world. If everybody continues to work together, as I am sure they will, if we give them the proper resources, the proper guidance, the proper support, this company will absolutely change the world. Because it's not just about...
When was this one from? 8 months ago.
The product. It's about what we can do with the product. I really believe that, you know, it started with one guy, who had a dream, a thought, and this team of people, this community, if you will, together have now put something together that is changing the world.
The world might change very soon. Stick around and I'll share details about a company that claims they've invented a device that can power our homes and cities without fuel. Free energy has long been the dream of scientists and eccentrics. But what if I told you it's actually becoming a reality?
Even Tesla, I don't think, was looking for free energy. He was trying to do wireless energy. It was still generated, like, from a normal thing. He was trying to make it wireless, which is incredibly inefficient.
One American startup believes they've really cracked it, and they're
So fucking tired of AI.
preparing to change the world. This is the story of Quantum Energy Corporation and their invention called the Earth Engine.
Just throw quantum on there, that'll do it. That'll trick the rubes.
Quantum was founded in 2015 by a group of engineers and physicists frustrated by the slow pace of renewable tech.
I'm gonna be honest, if a single physicist showed up to try and join the Perpetual Energy Engine team, I'm gonna go ahead and take away their physicist card. That's like one of the top rules, is that perpetual energy is a no-go. What are you doing?
They resolved to develop a totally new kind of generator that tapped into free energy all around us. For years, they toiled in secret, convinced the big fossil fuel companies would try to stop them. No one knows exactly how the Earth Engine works, as Quantum guards the details very closely.
Oh, that's convenient, isn't it? We can't, it's a trade secret how this thing that breaks the basic laws of physics works, so I guess we'll just trust him.
But supposedly it uses novel plasma and magnetic technologies.
Again, there's the fucking plasma, with the goddamn plasma.
To intercept.
Magnets are often cited. Magnets are the classic thing that people cite for their, like, perpetual motion machines, which isn't how anything works. Magnets don't generate energy. Magnets don't generate energy. Magnets don't do work. I'm begging you.
And convert kinetic and potential energy freely available from natural phenomena like weather patterns, tides, and geological processes. This includes energy we can't even detect. If rumors are to be believed, the Earth Engine is already powering Quantum's
Thanks
facilities
for continuing your gift sub.
in secret locations across the US. Employees report it produces more energy than they can use. In 2021, they started production on a larger prototype for city-scale tests. But true validation won't happen until the world sees it work themselves. That reveal is set for 2025, according to Quantum's projections. They aim to launch mass production of affordable Earth Engine units suitable for homes, businesses, and cities everywhere. If successful, it could displace fossil fuel power worldwide within decades. Quantum could make gasoline obsolete overnight. But is it really possible? What does free energy mean for the future? Some skeptics say it's impossible.
Patrick, thanks for gifting a membership on YouTube. Speaking of which, we are going to do our Patreon, paid patron and YouTube member only stream tomorrow. We're going to do a normal stream as well. But after that, we're going to do another patron and YouTube member stream. So if you want to be a part of those, join the Patreon at patreon.com/HannahReloaded or become a member on YouTube.
And call Quantum's claims pseudoscience. But others say with scientific progress, nothing should be ruled out.
Okay, but like, if you're defying the laws of physics as we know them, you need to explain that, or you can't expect people to take you even a little bit seriously. That's not unreasonable.
If it's real, free energy would immediately...
Oh, thanks for gifting a sub. I really appreciate it. After continuing your gift sub as well. Thank you.
solve so many of our problems. No more energy poverty or dependence on foreign oil. We could power desalination plants to solve water scarcity and power electric planes and cargo ships. It would boost economies like nothing before. The environmental benefits are hard to overstate. Free energy would make fossil fuels completely redundant, allowing us to halt climate change in its tracks. We could shut down...
I hate this shit. Just like Amber said, gas is already obsolete. We have renewables. We just have to invest in it. People acting as though in order to get off fossil fuels, or at least try and, like, get off them to some extent, even though it'll take time, we need to invent some magic device instead of just trying to actually work towards better solutions.
Every coal plant.
Implementing the solutions we already have. Maybe not wasting a bunch of energy on shit that doesn't make any goddamn sense, like crypto and a fucking eye.
Cars.
I swear, I'm gonna have to start a series soon called, like, Artificial Insanity, because I saw another article about more people having, psychosis driven by interactions with ChatGPT. So we might need to make that a series where I go over people who are having mental disorder issues interacting with AI. Because it's a problem that some people are now seeing, but, like, it's a bigger problem than even they realize.
Without new infrastructure. This could buy us precious time to restore natural habitats and maybe even reverse some impacts. Our planet and species would have a viable future. But the societal impacts are just as profound. With free and abundant energy, new technologies would flourish. We'd have the power for advanced agriculture using indoor vertical farming. Fresh water could be accessed anywhere via energy-powered desalination and purification. No region would be condemned to poverty just because of location or resources. Opportunities would abound.
Paradona with 100 bits says, too many people, at least from the Twitter screenshots, use Grok to think for them. Yeah. I'm glad I'm not on Twitter. I left Twitter a while ago, and I'm glad.
Free energy.
You can follow me on Blue Sky if you want. It's Hannah Reloaded. I know not as many people are on Blue Sky, but frankly, I'd rather not be on social media at all than be on Twitter.
Would let us colonize space much more rapidly too. Launching
Why?
rockets and maintaining outposts off-world.
I guess you wouldn't have to ship fuel, but again, you didn't do that, so...
would become simple with limitless amounts of power. This could be a biggest step toward becoming a true multi-planetary species and protecting our future from natural disasters here.
Before we become a multi-planetary species, maybe we should, like, not destroy the one we're on first? Like, just to be clear? Because, like, the idea of, hypothetically, someday far into the future, humans living on other planets, I get that as something that's appealing, I understand, but it's not even close to realistic. Maybe it never will be. How about we take time to work on real problems we have on Earth, instead of having imaginary fantasies about living on some other planet that's completely inhospitable to life? HBird with 40 bits says, I do not now, nor have I ever had a Twitter account. I don't always have a point to make. I'm just being smug about it. Or I don't have any point to make. I'm just being smug about it. That's reasonable. Twitter's kind of a cesspool.
On Earth.
And even before Elon, it was.
The solar system.
But it's gotten way worse.
Even exploring beyond would lie within our grasp. Of course, such a breakthrough would face resistance from fossil fuel industry giants, but ordinary people everywhere stand to benefit. If quantum succeeds, I believe free energy will spark the most prosperous and progressive new era for humanity. Young people today will grow up with possibilities our parents could never have imagined.
Nemesaur, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs and kicking off a hype train. If you want to help the hype train, bits and gift subs and subscriptions help. We are at the end of the month, only a couple days left, so getting close to the sub goal would be cool. I get we probably won't make it, but if you want to help out, it's always appreciated. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub. We will run this hype train on perpetual motion.
Generation could make this bright future a reality within just a few short years. Quantum aims to prove the Earth engine works as promised by 2025.
Okay. I'm seriously done with the fucking AI shit. Let's see this random. Look at this. This is a 12-year-old video. It's perfect. It's impossible for it to have any AI.
This machine now does what I've always said it would do. Now, Joe Nafi, I want you to walk over here. Joe's been with me for a long time. I want you to look at the people and tell them, I have told you many.
This is what I think of when I think of a perpetual motion machine, as some asshole in his garage with delusions of grandeur. Now this is a perpetual motion machine.
Many times. I didn't want to put this machine out until I could reach high speeds.
Is the name Liz Murray known to me? No.
And I knew I would achieve it. Is that true or not true?
Exactly true. That's what we've been waiting for, the only missing ingredient.
All right.
Pretty good speeds, but now we've got unlimited speeds.
We have unlimited speed.
See, that's what's important. Power is relative to speed. You can look it up in the equation of what power is. It's force time distance divided by the time. It's tied to time. As you increase that speed, if you graph it, the power output will go up like this. If you keep increasing the speed, you can make it go up in a straight line. That's what we can now do, and that's what I'm going to demonstrate. Now, the other thing that I'm going to verify is these batteries right here, a 9-volt transistor batteries that you've already seen a video up where I ran that machine for an hour on 9-volt batteries. Well, I deliberately killed these batteries with this little motor right here, killed it. And I had a guy represent two guys representing two companies that were here. A few years ago, they were a $30 billion and a $40 billion company. They all split up now. The companies are down. I think one of them's a $15 billion, and the other one's a $8 or $9 billion company. Still big companies. Their representatives were here. Joe wanted to say something.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Has it been that? Okay. But anyway, one of their engineers is from the Gulf Coast. We showed it to these two guys who came first 2 weeks ago, and then they had a guy who installs their technology along the Gulf Coast. Now, I had him do something. I had him verify that these batteries are dead. Right now, if you check them, they're 98 volts across this battery pack. It's dead. Now, if you take and divide that by 14, these are 14 batteries. 14 into 98 is 7. It shows there's 7 volts on each one of these batteries. These batteries are 9.3 volts. A battery, when it's 10% down, is dead. Every technical person knows that's true. You know it about your own.
Trying to throw numbers out to make it sound more complicated than it is, that's a scam tactic. And I don't know if he's doing it intentionally or not. Minute left on the hype train, 27% to level 4.
Car battery, 10% down, it's dead. As soon as I hit hook this motor to this battery voltage would fall from 98 volts.
H-Bird says, remember when we filmed everything using potatoes? Good times. Was it good times? Let me find. Does he just have like an introduction video? Because that is one of the most popular videos on his channel, but it's terrible.
Down to 0.03 volts. 0.03, less than 1 volt. I asked him a question. His name was John.
It's mullet credibility. He's business in the front. You can trust him. Just don't look at him from behind.
I said,
30
John,
seconds on the hype train.
Being honest, because I had him try to turn this shaft. And this is the way he could turn that 2-inch diameter shaft when he grabbed it. With all his might, he just couldn't move it. And I asked him, I said, what do you think the chances are that you could take these dead batteries and run that machine? I said, just give me your honest statement. His quote was this, and Joe was a witness to it. He said, I'd bet every dime I got these dead batteries won't run that machine. I said, let's run it and see. I hooked it up to it, and it immediately took off. Is that?
Yeah, man, I don't think those batteries are what's powering it. There's something else going on. There's a bigger battery in it hidden somewhere, or it's plugged in and you're just hiding it. I believe you that those batteries are not powering it.
True or not true,
Thanks
Joe?
for the hype train.
True, we've run in and out with those, but this was dead batteries.
Now, this should not happen. The point of it, dead batteries have voltage. They have no current capacity. I've always said to the world, this machine does not run off a current. It runs off a voltage. Dead batteries have voltage capacity. They have no current capacity. It takes power to produce current and run it through a load. It doesn't take power to produce voltage. If you're up north and walk across a rug in the wintertime, You'll produce 15,000 volts when you see a spark go from your finger to a doorknob. Jumps that far. Now, it'll make you try to hurt yourself, but it really won't hurt you. You know why it won't? There's no current in it. The current is probably a billionth of an amp. The voltage is high, 15,000 volts. How much power did you use to walk across the floor and produce it? None. You didn't even notice it. That's why it shocks you. You're amazed that you could do that.
What is
This
he
machine runs
talking
off of that
about?
voltage. It doesn't run off the current. Now, what I'm going to show you, something I wanted to show you all my life, and here it is. It's taken me
Turn it on.
all these number of years to master this backspike. And the power brokers have tried to fight this and keep it from you. People who have read my book
Goddamn power brokers.
tried to claim it as their own. God has seen to it. None of them have mastered it. There's 3 new scientific principles I have never disclosed that has allowed me to master this technology.
Famously, when you have discovered new scientific principles, you keep them to yourself. That's what Isaac Newton did. He said Principia Mathematica, more like Principia mind your own business.
Take lightning that was produced by this machine and turn it into torque. And you're going to see it take off right now and run off of this transformer that produces voltage, not current. The maximum current is
H. Baird says, I have a degree in physics.
produced is 0.4 of an amp out of this transformer. But it'll produce 3,000 volts off of 120 volts input power. What this is a variac. It allows me to start with real low voltage. You put 120 in, I can dial this, and anything up to 120 I want, I can put into this transformer. And when you do, you'll see that the current is very, very tiny going in to this machine right here from AC power.
All right, turn it on.
Watch how easy it is for me to start dialing this up. I'm going to put this motor right here. Watch it take off, and I'm going to just turn it up a little bit. Now I can turn this meter all the way around to get up to 120 volts. And what I'll show y'all, Joe, I want you to hold this meter up. So as I dial this up, you can't get in front of the camera. You got to stay on this side.
Lucas Dawn says, I'm wondering, does the whole attitude of American individualism create more of these types of scammers? It seems to feed into the idea that one person can revolutionize the world when that's increasingly rare. Most changes are made by collections of people. Yeah, and American like civic mythology is full of those kind of figures. Look at how often like Thomas Edison is like put up as like a figure that like he invented the light bulb, and like it's not historically accurate, but nonetheless it's become part of the fabric of like American culture, is the archetype of the like scrappy inventor that changes society for the better. And people want to be that. People look at the archetypes we give them and kind of look at them and go, what fits me? What do I want to do? And they try to mold themselves into that archetype. And it's really pernicious in America, especially when you lack resources or education to actually try to do something, or lack the ability to recognize that that stuff is often mythology, right? And the reality behind them is actually teams of people and even nefarious actions in the case of, Edison. So, I don't know. We're pretty fucked. Sorry.
Now you got to hold it up with one hand, your left hand. All right, what you reading?
I'm curious if he really believes this, and if he, like, has somehow deluded himself, or if it's a pure scam.
9 to 10, 10.0, and then 9.6.
All right, hold it up so make sure Ed can see it. Tilt it that way. Can you see that, Ed? Wait a minute. Now you hear that machine still getting faster. All right, what's your voltage? Still 9 to 10?
10 to 11 volts.
I don't know if he's selling this. He has whole playlists about this. It looks like he's been doing this for a while, so I really don't know. I don't know if he's selling anything.
Mostly around 10.4.
My thing is, if he wasn't selling anything and he really believes that this is revolutionary, why doesn't he share the information? You know what I mean? The fact that he says, like, oh, it's like a trade secret, I don't know. That feels a little like he's trying to make money on it, right?
10.4 would be about an average.
Trey says, it also doesn't help that when we talk about collectivist action and how it has impacted not just America, but the world, we tend not to talk about it. We tend to instead act as though those civil rights leaders, although they were incredibly brave individuals, were somehow singularly driving forces that these movements could not have existed without. There are many Americans that think that without Abraham Lincoln, we would still have slavery today. Yeah, there was a plot of Doctor Who some seasons back that had a very similar view that really annoyed me. There was an episode where a racist from the future goes back in time to kill Rosa Parks because they think that'll stop the civil rights movement. And, like, it would have been one thing if the show was like, that doesn't make sense. That would have been a fine ending if the Doctor was like, even if you got rid of her, it wouldn't change, like, civil rights will happen one way or another, you know? But it doesn't. They genuinely act as though if he had killed Rosa Parks, the civil rights movement would have, like, been dead in its tracks. And that's a pretty fucked up view of history. That's not how things work. Things would have happened differently. But overall, movements do not usually hinge on individuals, especially in the case of Rosa Parks, when, like, they intended to do that. Like, they picked Rosa to do that intentionally because they wanted to, you know, get the boycott started. Like, they got together and decided to do that. She didn't just decide that day, I don't want to get up. Like, that was planned. Yes, it's Disney. No, that wasn't Disney Doctor Who, actually. That was right before Disney Doctor Who. That was Chibnall.
You can tell the current that this system right here is drawing. This is hooked in, this wire comes around and leads into the AC power. Going into this variac. This current tells you the power that's going into this system. You can't even hardly read that. Going below 0 and back up, it's anywhere from 200, I'd say probably 150. This first line will be 1 amp. The second line shows you a 2, which is 2 amps. The first line is 1 amp. You can tell that's way below the first 1. So that's probably anywhere from 150 to 0 amount of current, which is going to give you a low input power. Now you can see where that is right now. Now I want you to look at the voltage again.
Let me see if he does anything else.
I do appreciate y'all very much.
Oh, this is from 1994. This is a month after I was born. Wow, he did this game for decades.
And your openness, and I can say that your consideration has been a lot more open than what I got from my own country, and I compliment y'all for that. I have devoted my life to this. I started on this in 1965. I majored in accounting and economics. I've taught myself physics, chemistry, astronomy.
Oh, he taught himself physics. That explains a lot. He taught himself physics, chemistry, and astronomy. His major was in economics. Give it to you gotta lend it to an economist to try and create a fucking perpetual motion machine. That's pretty funny, huh? Hey, Mr. Blast, you might enjoy this episode.
This book here, The Energy Machine of Joseph Newman, is a unified field theory that mechanically explains gravity, electricity, magnetism, inertia, planetary motion, as well as a new source of energy. And for example, I can mechanically explain why magnets attract and repel. I have never met a man, none of y'all have ever met a man, who can give a mechanical explanation why magnets themselves mechanically attract and repel. They can give
Fucking magnets. How do they work?
a mathematical
They're physics explanations, sir.
observations of those facts. What I show in this book, and
They're fields. They're fields, sir. Why are you looking for a mechanical explanation to something that's based on fucking fields?
tried to describe in the patent is gyroscopic particles. They follow the known laws of a gyroscope, and they can be mechanically understood and anticipated and tapped into for the benefit of humanity. And that these gyroscopic particles are the basic building block of all matter. It is the smallest entity of matter. We have no instrument made in this world that can see a magnetic field. We can see the results of it, but we cannot see it. As a result of that, it's kind of like man having running water for over several thousand years. He walked through it, he saw the damage it did, yet it took us thousands of years to ever put a water wheel in that water and get useful work for it. You can't see this magnetic field.
Amber says it's like when STEM majors have absolutely dog shit takes on art or the social sciences. Stay in your lane. This is why I dropped out of college, so I could have shit takes on absolutely everything. I have no lane.
So it's put man at a big disadvantage. Now, Michael Faraday and James Clerk Maxwell, over 100 years ago, said explicitly that the energy in a magnetic field was matter in motion. Maxwell's original work is titled
Who is he giving this presentation to? Let's see. Canadian... Oh my god, this is him trying to get a patent in Canada in 1994. He's trying to give a presentation to a board for patents. That's so funny. Yeah, the United States Patent Office, I don't know when they instigated this rule, but the United States Patent Office will not take any patents for anything that is a perpetual motion machine, because they're not real. It's not a thing, doesn't exist, it's literally a physical impossibility. I don't know if Canada didn't have a similar rule in the 90s, but I guess not.
Dynamical theory, which means matter in motion. All of his mathematics has the word momentum in it. That has been taken out by the people who followed him and put in the word vector. Now he said he wished to be understood literally relative to energy in a magnetic field. That the energy in a magnetic field, as well as within the substances in which the fields came, was matter in motion. He could not mechanically explain it. He fell all around.
They filmed this too. They really thought this was like a historical document. Like, this is the day we patented our free energy machine.
He started talking about vortexes. This is a quote from his original work. In fact, I had Dr. Hastings get a copy of his original work because you can't get it very easily. But I told him, if you get Maxwell's original work, I guarantee you will find that he has done this. My instincts told me so because they were brilliant men. He got it at my request. He called me. He was all excited. He said, Joe, you're right. Maxwell's original work is full of it. He uses word momentum throughout it. And he was so offended, he wrote a dissertation to the colleges he had graduated from saying that Maxwell's original work had been violated. He said, Joe, if I had have known that Maxwell said these things, I would have worked on the same thing that you did. But because I so much believed in Maxwell and what I had been taught, that he used the word vector and there was only potential energy and no kinetic energy, and when I first talked to you, I felt sure you had to be wrong. He was tremendously offended. Now what I'm going to show you is that this technology works. The patent office officials, which is understandable, that by the known laws of physics and electroengineering, this device most certainly should not work if those laws are true. Now what I'm saying very blatantly is the scientific community made the same mistake back in 1820 twice. Because prior to 1820...
I'm surprised he even got a meeting in front of this patent board. I can't believe they said yes to this.
They said there was no connection between...
Like, obviously they denied it afterward, but, like, I'm curious why they even agreed to the meeting.
magnetism and electricity. Oster would go all over Europe setting up a demonstration to prove to young students there was no connection between magnetism and electricity. It was until a student set it up backwards. And when he put the magnet parallel to the wire. It turned on the current. The magnet flicked at right angles. The whole scientific world of Europe got all excited at that time, because Faraday said, well, if electricity will produce magnetism, then magnetism will
Patter is Apologetics 101. No, it's similarly delivered.
produce electricity. It led him to make the generator. But notice the mistake they made. They wanted the copper wire to act like a conventional magnet. They didn't learn anything from their mistake. They were so certain that a copper wire should act like a conventional magnet, they did not even take the time to ever put that magnet parallel to the wire and turn it on, because they were so biased that the conductor should act exactly like a permanent magnet or a piece of iron. Now, they made the same mistake twice. They didn't learn anything. They weren't humble, because as soon as they turned the current off, they noticed that the magnet wouldn't attract to the wire. So they made the same mistake twice. They then concluded that the magnetic field comes from the current. The wire is dormant like a water pipe carrying water. Now, I come along. I had never had a physics course. I had never had an electrical engineering course. I've been inventing for a living since 1961. I have a wide range of patents, from plastic-covered barbells to orange pickers to pumps to automatic hammers, water seesaws, a wide range
Maybe stick with some of those things.
of things.
Don't do this, man.
And I had a very open, honest mind. And when I looked at Faraday's generator and saw that you could move a conductor down at a snail's pace in a magnetic field at right angles to a conductor, and lo and behold, this current.
Was an automatic hammer not one of the things that Homer invented when he was trying to be an inventor? Am I crazy? Am I misremembering that? Hold on. Is this a Simpsons did it moment? I didn't mean to do that. Yeah. So when he invented the fucking electric hammer thing because he was trying to be an inventor, and he ended up, didn't he end up breaking like Edison's chair or something? I don't remember. It's fucking stupid. Oh, the light turned off. I thought it looked weirder in here.
Took off at the speed of light. It told me, my mind rebelled, and I sat up. I said, this can't be. I'm an old country boy. I've been physical all my life. I played a lot of sports. I don't care if when I've shot pool or played baseball or what I've done. The energy imparted into that mass never goes any faster than the energy that was imparted into it. If you hit a pool ball at a slow pace, the ball's on the end of the stack, it'll take off at a slow pace. My common sense told me something was moving in that magnetic field, and that the conductor was simply deflecting this energy.
So his entire idea is predicated on him believing that electricity functions the same as physical objects? He's looking for a mechanical reason for electrons to flow. That's what it... What?
And it reminded me as a boy, when I was in the country, I used to shoot ducks on a pond with a .22 rifle. And I noticed that a .22 bullet, less than 45-degree angle, would deflect off that pond. The first time I saw that, I was so shocked I forgot about the ducks and kept paying attention to it ricocheting up on a hill and hitting some oak trees. I even forgot about the ducks because I couldn't believe that water wouldn't penetrate, that bullet wouldn't penetrate the water, because I know I could take my finger and go down in that water and put it in at any angle, and it totally shocked me because I've always been curious since I was a kid.
You're telling me these folksy stories didn't convince the patent board?
That bullet would deflect off the water. Now, I saw the same thing when I looked at Michael Faraday's generator back in 1965. Now, I'm an honest person, so I put the blame where it belonged, because I could see that the magnetic field was being deflected by the conductor, and that there was some entity in that magnetic field that had some kind of mechanical characteristic would cause this effect. It took me 3 years to figure out why was it when you moved a conductor down at right angles to a magnetic field, the current would go in one direction. You'd move it up, it'd go in the opposite direction. You turn the magnet over 180 degrees, everything would reverse. But why was it when you went parallel to that lines of force, no matter how vigorously you moved it, you would get no electrical power from that system? It told me there was a mechanical characteristic taking place. Now, I put the blame on me. I said, I'm not smart enough to know what this mechanical characteristic is, but their their own test told me this is a mechanical characteristic. I set out to prove it to myself for over 3 years. It dominated my mind while I was inventing other inventions. And one morning some kids woke me up trying to get a wheelie on their bike. And the little kids couldn't get it up very fast. That's when they get the front end.
H-Bird says electrons can be moved mechanically. That's what static electricity is. Fun fact, the scientific term for static electricity is called the triboelectric effect. Funner fact, that comes from the Greek word for rubbing. Funnest fact, that's also where the word tribbing comes from. I'm not familiar with that word.
And jerk off the ground. And I said, well, if I built a flywheel, put it on the back of a bicycle, three-wheel bike, put it above the axis, they'd build up inertia on a flywheel, it'd take off. And I built such a unit with an 80-pound flywheel. It'd take off, leave black streaks on the pavement about that long, kids' eyes would get that big. But it wasn't, I didn't feel it was a safe unit, so I wanted to make it safe, and I had read the words that a gyroscope was a stabilizer. So I went to the library, got me a book on gyroscopes. And when I read that information on gyroscope, instantly, I knew the answer for 3 years that had dogged my mind. How did this current know which direction to go when you moved a conductor down to the magnetic field? What mechanical characteristic did it have to cause this result? It fit the laws of a gyroscope exactly. I explained that in this book, that when you have a gyroscope, you push down on its axis in one direction, it'll pivot in one direction. You push up, it'll go in the opposite direction. You turn it over 180 degrees, everything will reverse. You push down parallel to its axis, it will not do anything, it will not pivot. That fits the mechanical characteristics when you move a conductor through the lines of force of a magnet to a T. Now, no one has ever explained this before in the history of man. Not Faraday, not Maxwell, not anyone. Now, I don't take any credit from it. It is a gift God has given me, as He has gifted other people. If you're an artist, if you're a magician, and you have such a great gift, it's not of you. I feel it's of God that you serve humanity. I have done that, and now what I can show you is that this technology works as I say it does, because I didn't apply for a patent until 1969. Dr. Robert Smith, who was chief of space, you can read the problem. What I'd like to do is just give it back. I gave a back history on and talk was patent, and you put a voltmeter with a permanent magnet, infinite, and I agree. This is on the voltage, and what I'd like to do is take the positive, hook it to the positive side of this battery. I'd like to hook this to the negative side of this battery, and it's showing plus, and you'll notice the plus sign is way down, showing 223.5 volts. And the plus sign, you'll notice the manufacturer makes the plus sign very small because he says any competent engineer knows how to hook up the meter right, so I don't need to track his attention to it. But you'll notice something now if I turn this around and displacement. It's very efficient.
He's been doing demonstrations for decades for Rubes.
Just like on this motor right here, last night, now Joe will tell you, this back spike took out some diodes I have in this system.
All right, I'm gonna move on to the next guy. This is the guy that had the Thunderstorm thing, but I think this is an actual interview where he explains what his bullshit is, so let's check it out.
Thunderstorm generator is based on that very fundamental principle. If there's have a 0 point, then they can communicate that energy anywhere in the universe. There's another fundamental thing about how energy interacts with matter and with the ether.
That's pretty impressive. I hope our viewers as well are enjoying the discussion as we do.
Plasmoids are the most powerful entities in the universe. And the last real plasmoid generator I could point you to really was Solomon's Molten Sea. And that was the charger. We're going into mass production now.
Thanks a lot for the book announcement and a lot of things that are being said in the first time.
We'll take you through the generation of the plasmoids happens in this water here. Between this and this sphere, they get charged. There's a 0 point here. So that is amazing. And it means that what it proves is the engine itself, because this point is just the exhaust coming before it's gone into the sphere.
Mr. Malcolm, thank you very much for agreeing to this interview. We are happy to welcome you, and I hope our viewers, they are
Sorry, the fact that it's Dubai cracked me up a little bit. It reminds me of, like, do you guys remember The Line? Some years ago, they were planning on building that, like, mega city that was just, like, a straight line in the desert, and it made no sense. For some reason, Dubai has a lot of stupid mega projects that never work out, like really weird vanity project bullshit.
as well as excited as we are. So after the release of the documentary, FFG, A New Era of Free Energy, the Thunderstorm generator technology that you presented...
Was that Saudi Arabia? I thought it was Dubai. I guess maybe I'm wrong. I just thought it was Dubai. My bad if it is Saudi Arabia. Oh, it is? What did Dubai do? Is Dubai doing those artificial islands that keep sinking? One sec. Okay, yep, that's what I was thinking of, was the fact that they do the artificial islands that are sinking. That's what I've been thinking of. My bad.
Congress in Zurich. It actually rose great interest among our viewers, and that was the reason why we're doing this interview. We received lots of questions from both amateur and professionals, and they are interested in learning the physical principles of the Thunderstorm generators, and today propose to delve into the topic of plasmoid energy generation and reveal it from the practical side, if you don't mind. So we've prepared some questions. So the first one is, in your videos, you talk about how plasma has a natural ability to organize itself into plasmoids. Can you explain why and how this happens, please?
Yeah, well, thanks for this opportunity, because it is very timely. You might have noticed that now...
Nerdy says Saudi Arabia wants to build a 2-kilometer skyscraper, which, to be clear, would be larger than 2 Burj Khalifas on top of each other. Shouldn't they be, like, doing other things to try and wean off, like, oil money? Considering the future of oil is, like, lesser, hopefully. I understand that they want to become a tourist destination as well, and that's one of the reasons they build, like, a lot of big, stupid bullshit, but, like, wouldn't it be more cost-effective to build, like, some theme parks or, like, some smaller hotels that there's more of? I don't know.
Now these
Dubai as slave labor? Yeah, it's fucked up.
Establishments come out and admitted cold fusion's real. So it's an auspicious week. And in the same week, we just set up for the rolling out.
They only want rich people? Well, you can't have an economy with only rich people, although they do have slaves. So I guess you could have a bunch of rich people and slaves, but, like, I don't know if that'll work out for them in the long term. Ugh.
Of the technology, we've restructured from fundamentally a business structure that was research and development, and which
have they seen Elysium?
That I spent 7 years on an island writing these notes, and this is part of the notes. Some of them are redacted. But the front cover there shows the plasmoid unification model, which is actually the holy grail sort of science, where it unifies all things.
I would say it is the holy grail of science in that it is not real.
And recently, Sheila Raymond, who's a sound technician expert, she actually took these numbers that are in here and put them on an oscilloscope and found they were all coherent. So all these numbers are coherent together. So it is the unification model that everyone's been looking for. And Einstein and Tesla said, the man that does the unification model, and by the way, my grade 6 teacher that said, Malcolm, if you want a car that runs on water, you'll never do it unless you solve the unification model, because Tesla and Einstein didn't agree on much, but they did agree that the person that figured out all things would have the metric to tap unlimited power.
Oh, Jesus, did that teacher accidentally, like, fuck up this kid's brain? Sir, I think your teacher was just trying to convince you to, like, study and maybe go into legitimate physics if that's something that interests you. It wasn't a challenge.
And that's what I did, just as a bit of a background. And the Thunderstorm generator is really the first low-hanging fruit. It's the simplest application of the technology, which is...
He's claiming a perpetual motion machine is scientific low-hanging fruit. No.
The plasmoids are the most powerful entities in the universe. They make up, plasma. You have the 4 states of matter, and I'd say there's 5, but anyway, let's go liquid, solid, it's in ice, liquid is in water, gas is in water in its gas phase, and then you have the plasma, which is where all the constituent parts of that are freed. So
there's many, I believe I've read that there's also more states of matter than that, but they're like very specific to certain rare elements, and they're like produced in the lab. So they're like not really naturally occurring, generally speaking, but yeah, whatever.
Basically, that's plasma. The plasma, then you can reform.
He's saying thunderstorm generator, so it generates thunderstorms. No, that's just the stupid name he gave his perpetual motion machine.
That using frequencies and certain...
He said frequencies!
Geometry in the world that works is a collapsed sphere. So you take a sphere, collapse it North Pole to South Pole, and so then it forms this coherent structure, which creates its own electromagnetic field, and that holds protons and electrons in orbit, and neutrons. So the whole fabric of matter is all to do with plasmoids. And recently, a couple of years ago, the Kotlinski cloud was discovered, which is made up of these plasmoids. The New Science of Heaven by Robert Temple. It's a really good book for your viewers to have a look at. And also, I suppose we've now got out the new book too, which is by Roland Perry, The Shaman. And we just spoke to Roland a second ago. He's going to be writing the next book. But so that just gives you some background. And this is a very auspicious week because basically, as I said, they've come out and admitted that Martin Fleischmann cold fusion was actually, that experiment was repeated by many people, but they didn't want that to come out, and they didn't want the recognition of plasmoids, because if you go back to the Sanskrit text...
Sanskrit? They've been hiding the perpetual motion machine for millennia! For like 10,000 years!
It was
after 10,000 years, the energy is free!
Was an instrument to make ball lightning plasmoids, which are called Vidrit. And so, and that was, recognized as the most powerful weapon in the universe because the plasmoids are the most powerful entities. Everything in the universe, including, actually your heart's a plasmoid generator. So your intuition, your heart and your intuition...
Sir, your heart's a pump. Your heart's a pump. It's a biological fucking pump.
Comes from those plasmoids that are generated by your heart. When your heart creates a vacuum, it increases the microbubble size, and when it pumps forward, that collapses the bubbles. So naturally in your blood, you have these plasmoids. That is your second intelligence, because that means that the plasmoids are Kotlinski cloud, which surrounds us, and it's 18 times the volume of the Earth and Moon combined. And the plasmoids live, they make their own homes, because they generate the carbon, and carbon really, to simplify it, in my mind, is just like 3 heliums. The heliums, 222, 2 protons, 2 electrons, 2 neutrons, or 3 of those is 666, 4 of those is 888 oxygen. So it's very...
Yeah, okay, this guy's an outright scammer. The other guy might legitimately believe the thing he was doing. I got the vibe that guy that we were watching earlier maybe actually believed the stuff he was doing and was just confused. This guy's a scammer. This guy is speaking in very specific rhetoric and trying to do runarounds to make himself sound more intelligent than he is. I've said this before, but the throwing out of numbers that are not significant, but they're just like numerous, that's a rhetorical tool to make dumb and gullible people think you are smart, because to dumb and gullible people, someone rattling off a bunch of numbers, that sounds smart. I don't know a bunch of numbers. It's like the kind of shit someone would do in a movie. You know what I mean? But in a movie, it would actually, the numbers would relate to something important.
Very simple. So in our machine, I simply turn the carbon into oxygen by adding...
Oh, by the way, Harold Ebelman, I messaged you on Discord. I can't find the link to like the Google Drive thing you gave me. Could you either resend it, or on Discord let me know what your email is so I can search my email for the original email that you sent it on? Because I couldn't find it. The other day when the last Sovereign Citizen stream, I wanted to cover some of that stuff, but I couldn't find the link.
A helium, which is only pushing together two hydrogens, and Roland Perry, who we just spoke to, who wrote the book, we're putting out another book this year. This is all a new announcement for the audience, right? This is you heard it here first. Is that the book's coming out? It's Oliphant and Rutherford, and it's about their 1934 paper, which is on the fact that you can fuse two hydrogens together and make a helium. So, and that's part of the whole process, is that I was able to put everything on the plasmoid, including all the elements. And so the way we use in the Thunderstorm generator is the simplest thing. We just simply take the vacuum from the engine and that actually, the vacuum on one side of the water actually pushes the air through. So you're not sucking the air through, it's actually being pushed through by the difference between the weight of the atmosphere and the vacuum on the other side of the water. So push that through. And so then those bubbles are going into a vacuum, the microbubbles expand. It's only the microbubbles that actually create the plasmoids, because otherwise they'll get distorted by the current. So they have to be small enough to be within the current and not being moved by it. So when they collapse into that 0 point, and that 0 point is the glue that then holds it together, because it's got its own gravity well. And so,
yeah, it's malicious techno-babbling. Do you think he practices this? Like, do you think he sits in front of a mirror and, like, tries to come up with as much techno-babble bullshit as possible? Because, like, there's no way anyone can just do this off the cuff, right? Like, I'm a pretty big Star Trek fan, but even I can't just, like, make up a bunch of gibberish, you know? That sounds right. I guess I should say, anyone can say gibberish. It is a skill to make gibberish sound legitimate, sound like it has a purpose. There is a skill to that. It's just a skill primarily used by scam artists or writers. Be a writer, not a scam artist.
electromagnetic fields in the shape of an infinity symbol, right?
Maybe he's taken a few improv classes. Yeah, me too when I was younger, but I'm not a scammer.
But it's in...
I can't do this shit.
There's videos and notes.
I can just yes and not very well.
So I said in straightfoundation.earth, you'll see that sort of model there. So basically, the formation of the plasmoids is caused by three things in the universe. So when you have a meteorite coming in, you have multi-axis shear, right?
Why would a meteorite create plasmoids?
And you have the energy, from there, free energy, free protons, electrons, ions, right? And then you have the water, which is actually in the atmosphere. And so when meteorites hit, you tend to get this ball lightning that comes from the charge separation that occurs in those environments. So basically, when we put the exhaust gas on one side, it's positive, and when we got the vacuum coming through the center, it's negative. Our Thunderstorm generator, we create charge separation, and because it's having to go through its course, it's got multi-axis shear, so therefore it's the best environment to create the plasma and plasmoid. So that answers question number one, I think.
Okay, thanks a lot. That's pretty impressive, and for the book announcement.
The interviewer actually seems to also find this funny. I wonder if he knows this is bullshit and this is just his job, so he has to do it.
And a lot of things that are being said in the first time, so our viewers, please pay attention to the release. Okay, so the next one is what physical processes keep plasma in a plasmoid in the shape of a sphere or torus?
Cold fusion, which is now called the audience lattice confinement fusion, which is the same thing, but they don't want to admit it's the same thing. So, but you can look at the recent releases on that. But the process that the differences between plasmoids born in water, because they have a water sheath. And that sheath is quite simple because you have a net negative. That means you've got more electrons and protons spinning. And so you have a drawdown of, and because of the clockwise motion, which generates negative charge, if you like, it's like its own generator. So, and it's its own self-contained electromagnetic field. But the sheath of water, like the surface tension on the water remains. So when the bubble collapses into the 0 point, it's maintained its still got its surface tension. So that's really interesting, because what it does is then, because the positive gets pulled into the inside, which is the hydrogen, and then the oxygen gets put to the outside. And that's very good. I do have a good, and I should probably
look
refer
how
to
thick
this,
that book is. Oh,
because
fuck.
it's something that's almost impossible to describe. So.
This did come out this year. I wonder if he used ChatGPT or something similar to write that book, because that's not an insignificant book. That's got... There's some words in there, let me tell you. Look at that.
I should too try and get pictures so that people can see it. So here's the process you have here. You have a process here where you have...
okay, it's a lot of pictures. It's a lot, never mind. That's a lot of pictures, never mind. Are all the pages like that, or just that page? 'Cause that's like 80% pictures. This is basically a picture book if it looks like this the whole way through.
Have a positively charged...
It looks very much like Terrence Howard's attempts at quote-unquote science, where the science is just like, look at this shape. I think this shape is significant. Isn't this shape cool? I can do sci-fi things with this shape.
Plasmoid, net positive, because of course everything's always, if you have, for every force there's an equal and opposite force. So in our Thunderstorm generator, it's based on that very fundamental principle. Number one is what people don't know, and they should know, is that when you put petrol in your car, if you put $100 worth of petrol, $33 goes to drive the car, and $66 is wasted. Now, that $66,
what?
I'm using that and just recovering half of it, which is the, well, if you recovered half of that, that'll be the full power of the motor.
Is he talking about engine efficiency?
You just half your waste.
Like, is he trying to say that the engine isn't because it has, like, heat and stuff? Because that's every engine in the world loses efficiency to heat. Like, what are you fucking talking about?
Heat. So this is a waste energy recovery system, or waste heat recovery system. So the waste heat's turned to plasmoids in the Thunderstorm generator by the multi-axis shear, by the charge separation.
So he is saying that his machine absorbs all heat discharge and reuses it. Okay. That's not true.
They're charged up. Now,
I promise you could walk up to his engine thing while it's running and touch it, and it would be warm, which would indicate that this is immediately bullshit.
now on the outside, you've got the positive plasmoids coming out after having been spent in the combustion chamber. Before they go to the combustion chamber, the negative charge puts all the hydrogen to the center, because it's pulling the hydrogen in, and puts all the oxygen, and that's a sort of a visualization of it, That's the positive sitting in the center, and there's the negative sitting in the center. It's actually quite interesting because it's a geometric, if you like, sacred geometry force multiplier. Simply because you're putting...
Sacred geometry force multiplier. Wow, he and Terrence Howard should hang out. Sacred geometry. Get the fuck out of here.
In the case of a net negative, it increases the net negative because you're putting all the oxygen to the outside, which is negative, and putting all the hydrogen to the inside, which is positive. And the opposite happens here, where if you have a net positive, it pulls in the oxygen and puts...
Okay, I'm gonna move on from the word salad babble. Let's see what else we got. Alright, let's take a look at the ad for the Liberty Engine.
Want to buy our Liberty Engine generator? Stay until the end of the video.
Oops, sorry.
Want to buy our Liberty Engine generator? Stay until the end of the video if you don't want to get scammed.
If you don't watch our video, you will get scammed. Trust us, our video isn't a scam.
For the past few years, we've been working on a revolutionary prototype, the Liberty Engine. Many of you have already seen it in action.
It is sad that like 40% of the population has self-selected themselves to be the most easy marks in history by just being persuaded by anything like with the word freedom or liberty in it. I'd almost feel bad if they weren't like the worst people in the country.
In our videos. The Liberty Engine is the result...
Is that a Kevin Sorbo AI voice? It does kind of sound like him. That'd be pretty funny if that was intentional.
Many months of testing, failures, redesigns, and closely guarded secrets. We've shown it in action, tested it in real-life conditions, and have never, ever offered it for sale. We repeat, we have never sold the Liberty Engine. Not parts, not plans, not kits, nothing. We explained the reason a while ago in a video. The technology we use to manufacture the Liberty Engine and...
Are the N's and the S's on it supposed to indicate to the mark that it's run by magnets or something?
all its variants.
People where it says this is literally a car alternator. Oh, that would make sense, because, yeah, an alternator quickly switches the... Yeah, okay. So it does have the... And okay, yeah.
Does not belong to us and is not commercially available. 2 months ago, we started receiving disturbing messages. At first, they were few, then dozens. People asking us, hey, I bought a Liberty Engine, when will it arrive? Or, why don't you answer your store's emails? Someone created a very professional website using our images, our videos, and worst of all, our name.
Oh no! People are using our scam to scam other people. I would imagine this is also them. I don't know that. I remember Sky Pierce or Sky Prince Medbeds. It might be a thing like that where they're claiming other people are scamming when they're the ones that are scamming. It wouldn't surprise you if it was the real Kevin Sorbo. Kevin Sorbo does do a lot of scam ads. He does a lot of ads that you'll see on BitChute and Rumble, which I still want to do that stream. Probably in the next week we'll do that stream where we just, like, look at Rumble and BitChute ads, because they are truly hilarious. You know how many fucking ivermectin ads are on BitChute and Rumble? It's like half the ads.
They also used a very dirty technique called price anchoring, or decoy pricing. Although both websites were created by the same person, one offers the Liberty Engine 2 for $999, and the other offers it as a special offer, reduced to $499. We can assure you that if the technology is ever released and made available for sale, the price of the necessary special materials will be over $7,000.
I assure you that scam didn't charge you nearly enough.
The online stores that claim to sell it are called LibertyEngineSale.com and LibertyEngineShop.com, and no, we have nothing to do with them. They are not our stores, nor are we in any way affiliated with them. But they use our thumbnails, cut out our videos, and sell an absolute lie.
I love what... I don't know if this is like a weird thing where they are that website and they're scamming and now they're trying to double scam by getting people from that scam and being like, no, that wasn't us, we'll sell you a real one. It could still be them, but it is funny to imagine that this is an alternative scammer that's like a parasite on the original scam. I've talked about that before. If you run a successful scam that brings people to you, there are sort of these the tertiary scammers that will sort of parasite onto it and take all the work you did as a scammer and just try and get your marks to them, which is funny for scammers to get mad at because, you know, they weren't doing legitimate work in the first place. It's a scam, but they still get mad that other people are taking the time they put into scamming people and taking their marks away. It's kind of funny. Hydrate, will do.
They haven't manufactured anything. They don't have access to our material. They don't know how it works. And yet, they are scamming people.
You think people would do that? Go on the internet and scam people? Nonsense. Peeplord says, been in the electricity biz for nearly 2 decades. This stream is going to make me Minecraft. Here's a Jeep Liberty alternator. Okay. And here is the free energy device. Wait, what? Oh! Extension cord. I'm tired of scams, folks. I'm real tired.
A few days ago, they dared to write to us, asking us to be part of their scam, hoping we would promote their online stores on our YouTube channel in exchange for a percentage of their sales, which they would pay in cryptocurrency. We flatly refused. And I quote, "After thoroughly reviewing your recent proposal regarding the sale and promotion of your so-called Liberty Engine, we must make it absolutely clear that we refuse to participate in any way in your scheme. It is evident that your product in question does not work as claimed. Your project is a deliberate attempt to deceive and defraud, and we want nothing to do with it. We categorically reject your offer and firmly oppose any form
I
of
appreciate that they put the heroic music over the thing that they're claiming they said.
fraud or manipulation. Furthermore, we have become aware that you have used or intend to use our image, logos, and video content to give false credibility to your product. Let us be perfectly clear. You are not authorized to use any of our branding or materials under any circumstances. Any such use constitutes a serious violation of our rights and will be
Peachbird says, I kind of want to try reverse scamming these things, like buy one of their free energy devices, visibly show whatever battery they put in was removed, but hide a battery somewhere else so the scammer starts to wonder if you made their machine actually work. That's a funny idea.
be met with immediate legal action, if not stopped at once. We will not remain silent while others are misled using our name. Therefore, we are preparing to publicly expose your actions to prevent further harm to the public and to protect the integrity of our work. You are hereby instructed to immediately cease and desist from using our name, image, logo,
I don't know if it's literally illegal cease and desist just because you say it.
content, or any association with us in any form. This is our final warning. We are not scammers. Sincerely, the Liberty Engine team.
You can trust us. See, we called out this other scammer. We can't be a scam.
After our response email, we haven't heard from them again. But the emails from people asking about these supposed websites continue. These are some of those who have fallen for this scam. People like...
Let me see. They are selling stuff on a store. Let me look at what it is. Hold on. You can also support our products by purchasing a product from our store, and then there's a link. I will say, the funniest version of a perpetual motion machine scam is you never release the machine, but you just hype idiots up for it and sell them t-shirts. I would say I think that's the funniest fucking scam. We don't have the energy machine yet, but buy one of our t-shirts. I promise the machine's coming very, very soon.
you, like me, who saw our video, searched for where to buy it, and ended up visiting these fraudulent pages, falling for the scam. From here, we want to make something very clear. We do not sell the Liberty Engine. We do not sell prototypes. We do not sell plans.
Then what are you even supposedly making this video for? You know what I mean?
Any website that does is lying. We have already made this clear in the comments on our videos, in previous posts, and on our social media. And if you have also been scammed by this website, leave it in the comments. We will compile all possible cases. We've already reported this website to the appropriate authorities.
I'm sure.
We're also in contact with YouTube and other media outlets to prevent these people from continuing to deceive and discredit our YouTube channel. Weeks ago, they also had a channel promoting it, and as soon as we detected it, we had it removed from YouTube. In the meantime, if you see any Liberty Engine ads outside of this channel, report them, share this video, and please don't fall for it. We've also detected non-functional replicas for sale on AliExpress that are useless. These replicas simply don't work. Don't buy them. There's one thing you need to be clear about. The most valuable thing we have isn't the Liberty Engine, it's you. And we won't let them play with your trust.
What is he, like, what are they even claiming? Like, what do they mean? What is your goal? If you're saying you're never selling it, like, why are you just accruing viewers? What are you doing? They have over 500,000 subscribers. I would guess some of those are bots to make their channel look more legitimate, because this video only has 37,000 views, but who knows?
Thank you for being there and trusting us.
How strange. This is a very weird scam. Make your own air conditioner at home? That seems unsafe for most people.
In today's video, we're going to build a homemade air conditioner using very...
Also, where's... What? What?
few components. Stay until the end.
Where's the hot air? An air conditioner, like, takes the air and blows hot air out. Where is it blowing the air? This is just like a refrigerator fucking cool coil or some shit. What the fuck? Can you get a link for this? Sure, here's a link to this video. You can get to the channel from there.
To begin, we'll need a copper tube with a 4 by 6 millimeter diameter. Using something round like this paint can, we'll bend the copper into a spiral. What we're creating is a real miniature refrigeration system capable of lowering the air temperature down to -10 degrees Celsius.
Where are you gonna put the heat? Where are you gonna put the heat? It has to go somewhere. You can't just destroy it. Where does the heat go?
Fill some drinks in just a few minutes. Once we have about 8 loops, we proceed to cut the tube.
In the butt? My butt's already plenty hot, I'll tell you that much.
And slightly bend the ends so we can connect them later on.
The heat will go to Arby's because they have the heats. Boo!
This tube, thanks to its excellent thermal conductivity, will serve as our evaporator. Now we're going to create a second circuit with the remaining copper tube. We'll bend this second tube with a wider spacing and fewer turns. Will it be the condenser unit?
I'll move on, because that's not perpetual motion. I just don't understand what they're even trying to do with that shit.
Hello, I'm Malcolm Bendall, and I'm here to present Section 4.
Oh my god! That's not... Is this just dubbed, or is it AI?
Of our 15-part series on the technology related to MSAT plasmoids
Because
and
the mouth...
plasmoids. This section specifically relates to plasmoids, which are generated in air and over metal, which creates a net positive charge.
Is the whole video AI? I hate it. I hate it.
Which is more active and aggressive than the net negative charge, which is generated by imploding bubbles in water. In the hand, the normal symbolism, because actually the Vajra is as it goes out.
Jesus, I hate the future. It just sucks dick. It just sucks dick. Anyway,
Mississippi, and he makes his living as an inventor.
it will change the world if we can just get it out there. Alvin Swimmer, PhD, Department of Mathematics, Arizona State University. Hannah, make a video about conspiracy theorists that hate and fear AI. There's far fewer of them than those who love it. Conspiracy theorists fucking love AI. It's a sycophancy machine. Of course they love it. Their whole worldview is based around coddling their preconceived notions. Music you're playing. Oh, it's this fucking guy again.
All right, I'm Joseph Newman, and we're going to have some young people here with us from North Texas University. This is Aaron. Diane's going to be assisting him. She's going to be a teacher.
I think Aaron knows.
And Aaron's going to get the idea of the power it takes to even move the shaft of this 7,500 pound motor. And Aaron's going to pick it straight up with one hand, straight over the shaft. Put your hand straight over it. You're going to just do a curl.
Go through.
And you can see how hard that is, and that's good. All right, and what I want is your honest opinion. What do you think?
It's always a good idea, or rather, sorry, it's a good sign when your presentation of your scientific device starts like the beginning of a magic trick where you have someone from the audience come up and, oh, test and make sure this is... this is legitimate.
The chances...
Fun fact, in a magic act, when a magician is like, can you prove to me that this thing works this way? It doesn't work that way.
The current out of this battery is going to run that motor.
I'd probably say impossible by itself.
Okay, all right, good. And That's what I want people to understand. It is impossible by conventional wisdom that this can happen. All right, now this is from Energizer that you can pull up on the internet. They tell you
He printed out a website.
toy is a high drain device. See it in black here? Now what they're really telling you is don't put this toy, and here's a toy motor. That's a toy motor. This is a toy they're talking about. Feel the weight of that. There's nothing to it. Now here's the smoke detector. It shows you a 9-volt battery. And this is what the man.
Yeah, he's doing it like he's doing it like a magic trick. He's setting up expectations to subvert. Real science doesn't do that. If he was a scientist and he would develop this new thing, he would step by step explain how this works. He wouldn't like try to shock you like this. He wouldn't try to like, I'm gonna set up all these narratives to subvert. H-Bird says, if you think this is bad, the History Channel made a multi-season show about the secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. That's just lots and lots of this type of thing, but they think aliens have vortexes in a random ranch in Utah. I gotta look more into the Skinwalker Ranch thing. I've heard it's like completely manufactured bullshit, which is pretty funny. I mean, conspiracies in general are manufactured bullshit, but usually there's like some story or event they'll latch onto. I think the Skinwalker thing they just bought literally to manufacture conspiracy stuff for entertainment, which is kind of interesting.
Manufacturer of this battery is saying this is what we recommend that you use: a garage opener, a clock radio, or smoke detector. They say even a baby monitor is a pretty high drain device, and that little toy motor that you're holding is a high drain device. Now you won't see a 9-volt battery doing anything of any work. So how are we going to even move this 7,500 pound motor hooked to that 375 pound mud pump? Because we'll take
probably wherever the real energy storage is, hidden in the big box that's behind it. Like, did you guys notice the giant, like, half a car-sized box this whole thing is attached to? Like, why is it in a box? Because that's where you're hiding the real battery. We're not fucking idiots. Like, oh my god. Does he really think people don't know there's batteries in there?
A 9-volt battery that I've got right here that's brand new. Now what I want to do is just verify this is a brand new battery. And it's going to show 9.5 volts. Y'all see it? 9.5 volts. A brand new battery. All right, now let's take it and hook it to a little DC motor. Now this has got a pump on it, but all it is just a little tiny propeller in here, which is nothing compared to this big 375 pound mud pump you see back here. All right, now watch the meter, because I'm gonna touch this and it just will move this little pump, just real slow. Now watch how that volts falls. You see it? It's dead. The battery is dead. What you reading?
It's like one.
Yeah, man, you're doing the look over here. You're acting as though the battery's what's powering this, or at least instigating it, and it's not. There's other batteries in it. Fucking obviously.
Point.
3.4.
It keeps moving around.
Yep. All right, but see, you killed the battery. And not only that, this battery's getting warm right now. One of these little batteries, and it's going to run that 7,500 pound machine. Let me just hold it up here against it and get an idea of how tiny it is.
An idea.
Now I'm going to show y'all something that proves this to the lay people. This is a blow up from the Granger catalog. Now look at something. I've got it marked in yellow. Watch a 1 horsepower. This is the amps, 4.4 amps. You saw that little white DC motor kill that the instant I even touched it to it. Now this motor here draws 4.4 amps and 230 volts to 460 volts. All right, now let's go down to a 10 horsepower. a 10 horsepower draws
Marcel Paul
25.
says he should be able to power anything with this method, yet he always uses the same prepared engine. Curious. Yeah, weird, right?
0.2 amps. Notice something, it weighs 360 pounds. This 1 horsepower motor weighed 89 pounds. So the mass gets bigger and bigger. For the horsepower, let's go to 50 horsepower. Now it's 57 amps, and it weighs 636 pounds. Now it's 100 horsepower, 121 amps, and this is 1,660 pounds. You can see as the motor gets bigger, it draws more amps, which is more power because the voltage is basically the same. 230 to 460. When it gets down here to these big motors, they're all 460. 225 amps on a 200 horsepower.
Just fucking make this stupid bullshit spin.
If that's drawing 225 amps, this ought to be at least 3 times that, 600 and some odd amps is what it should be drawing. This will change.
Oh, okay, I thought we were done with the epic music. We're just gonna restart it.
Your Earth. And it's just like all the way back from Socrates to Max Planck. And advancement in new technology is
Neither of them is convinced.
not done by the old, they die away. It's you, the young, who grow up familiar with it, that bring it forward. That's why it's up to you. Now with that, we'll start running the motor.
My favorite fish? I don't know if I have a favorite fish. I don't think about fish. Ever. I don't eat fish. I don't have fish. I'm not a fish person. If I had to pick, though, maybe a catfish. Catfish are kind of like, they got the whiskers. I don't know. They're not pretty, but I like them. Salmon is delicious. I just don't like fish in general. I'll eat shellfish. Like, I'm okay with, like, shrimp, crab, you know, lobster, stuff like that. But, like, fish, I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
Now y'all can see that gets faster and faster as this voltage gets higher and higher. Now you got 10,000 volts on that pole out there. What do you think would happen if I put 10,000 volts on this machine? What kind of power would you think it had?
Unlimited.
Now I want y'all to keep something in mind. These batteries are in series. The current is still. That's running that machine is from this only. Now it's up to you, the young people, to spread this across the world.
It's up to you young people. I spent my whole life trying to push this scam and there were no takers. I've wasted 50 years of my life. Now, young people, it's your turn to waste 50 years of your life for me. I'd appreciate it.
Put it on the internet and have all your friends tell them, pull up the site. And if
Peoplelord says, old me would want to point out every single way this is wrong, how all of these clowns are wrong, but new me that follows JFK's worm is opening up a radium tech and wellness brand, selling radium sex toys and radium sex toy accessories. Also, every ChineseWish.com automatic house igniter I can fit an American flag on. Why? How did we get on a hype train? We didn't even get I'm very confused how a hype train started, but it did, so that's cool. Spare Keys with 100 bits says, hello, happy Pride. Fun fact from a long time ago, if it hasn't been mentioned already, constantly having people file patents for perpetual motion machines is what made the Federal Patent Office implement a new rule. To file a patent, you need to have a working model that works without issue for a certain amount of time. Also, perpetual motion machines are banned from getting patents because they're bullshit. So Quasispec, thanks for 500 bits, 40% to level 1. Thank you. If you want to help the hype train unlock new emotes, you can always use bits, gift subs, or subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, especially near the end of the month like this. Thank you.
You care about your own well-being, and the power brokers have fought this man all of his life. And I'm 73 and I'm still a tiger. And I'm fighting for y'all. But y'all got to fight for yourself because the power brokers don't want you to have this. They want to keep charging you for gasoline. If this batteries will run this 7,500 pound machine, you know it'll run a car. It'll run into...
Weird that you've never made it run a car then. You've had 50 years. You never hooked this up to a car? Terradona, thanks for 100 bits.
It'll run the world. It'll run ships. It'll run planes. It'll run anything. This motor is unbiased, totally unbiased. It'll change y'all's world. That's why you have a source now, the internet. You can beat the power brokers of the world with this. Now this thing will run long, way past the time you've got to stay here and see it. What questions do y'all want to ask?
He thinks this is his Independence Day speech. The music especially, he thinks this is his, like, Bill Paxton Independence Day moment. Spare Keys says, did he make a giant rock tumbler? No, that would be cool, because rocks and rock tumblers are cool. Overthought says, the companies don't want you to have this, so you'll hand out the plans for free then? No? F off then. Yeah. That's one of the ways he can tell it's bullshit. He won't tell anyone. After 50 years, he won't show people how it works.
Ask me for the young people.
He'll sort of vaguely describe the process, but he doesn't let other people go look at it and, like, fuck with it. Oh, it continues in part 2. That's definitely important. Oh, the music continues. Yeah. Amber says, reminds me of how we think it's General Atomics claimed they'd cracked cold fusion in the Fallout universe, but they were actually using a mix of fission and fossil fuels. Yeah. I think people get the impression from Fallout that, like, everything was nuclear, and there were a lot of nuclear things, especially right near, like, when you know, World War III basically started, or rather, when the nukes went off in 2077 in Fallout. But they were having a huge oil crisis, like, in the Fallout timeline, so, kind of funny. Minute left on the hype train. Oh, come on, man. An energy life preserver for the world.
This is Al Swimmer, came all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. He's a good friend of mine because he understands the magnitude of this technology. This is Diane. She's a student at North Texas University. She's going to be a teacher, and she wants to ask some questions. What question would you like to ask?
So my main question is, you have this huge machine, but how are you going to make it to where it can be in a household? Like, how much is it going to cost? Is it going to be the small machine? And what are you going to do with it?
Okay. Now, Diane's asking the question, how big is this machine going to be that runs a house? It may be about 1.5 times as big as this machine right here. There's something else we will do. We will take this same technology and make motors that go in every washer, every air conditioner, every device that goes in refrigerator, every device that goes in your house, and reduce your power bill. That's what this thing will do. Getting that cost down, cheaper, 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 cheaper.
Pretty much all the way.
All the way to nothing.
And this, it costs, you said it costs about $10,000 to put it in a home.
Yeah, but I want to get it down even cheaper than that. Not
I
just,
mean, if you think about it, that's how much you pay in like 3 years with electric bills.
exactly, it pays off.
Your electric bills are high. 3 years of electric bills are $10,000? Do you just run fucking spotlights in your house all day? What are you doing?
You might tell them how long it'll last. Nothing wears out.
The only thing that wear out of that is 2 bearings in that system. Now, we got brushes on that that will wear out eventually, but with diodes, you can do away with the brushes, that you don't even need them. But they'll last for good 20 or 30 years. You know, and they don't cost anything to replace them. But the major part of this motor will last long past your lifetime.
Lasting for that long, what you're putting into it, it's gonna make sense.
Now, I'm gonna show y'all something else. There's a law called Kirchhoff's law. It says, the second law says that if you have loads in a system, you'll have a voltage drop across each one of them. But if you add up all the voltage drops across the system, it will equal the input voltage. In fact, when they write...
Found an interesting video from the 40s on Perpetual Motion Wiki. Starts at 325. Cool, we'll take a look at that next.
Out the equation, it says this: the difference between the input voltage and the voltage drops across the system is 0. Meaning...
I was apparently wrong about the electricity thing.
It won't...
That was almost exactly correct, according to ours.
Be a difference. You can't get a difference. Also, that second law...
The professor he's using, is it really? Oh, a 2.6 out of 5! That's not very good. Dr. Swimmer's a nice guy, but he's rather old and can get confused during his own lectures. It can be difficult to understand what he's teaching, so be ready to teach yourself the majority of the class. It's not clear what will be on his tests and what won't be. His lectures are very dry. He does have an incredible curve at the end. Oh, he's a nice person, but a terrible teacher. His lectures have little to do with what you need to know about calculus. Oh, he's a fucking math teacher! Okay. Well, alright then. That's kind of funny.
Is to verify the conservation of energy. Well, I'm going to show you a violation of it right now. Now, what I have is a capacitor in line, parallel with this motor, parallel with it. Now, y'all come here. Diane, you hold this for them. Let's see, I got to go just a little bit closer. All right, watch it. Well, man, I know it's going to show overloaded. Let me use this meter.
What exactly is this showing?
It's going to show you voltage. All right?
Like when it's negative, it's...
Yeah, but watch. That shows overload.
Why does the college keep him around? He's really, really cheap. He might be tenured. In fairness, at this point, he probably is retired. Those reviews were from 2015, so he's probably retired by this point. Or dead.
Yeah.
Call it out.
It's overload. It goes up to 9.0, and then 10, and then overload.
All right, now overload is 1,000 volts.
Sorry, 900.
Yeah. Overload is 1,000 volts.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm going to use this other meter. Now it goes up to 80,000 volts.
Okay.
All right, now you just hold that again.
Okay. This holds up to how much?
Now see, this will show you 0.1, but you got to multiply it times 1,000. Whatever you read, you got to multiply it times 1,000.
So he's reading the voltage from the capacitor now.
All right, call out what you see. Times 1,000.
Going up to 10. 8,000, 7,000, 10,000. That's like 10,000.
See, that's 0.7, which is 700, 900. When he says point, now see that one? Yeah, one is over 1,000.
Okay, there's 900, 1,000 again, 900.
All right.
So I'm right back and forth.
Now this voltage is greater, because let's go over here with the same meter and measure this voltage on this battery pack. Now you won't see that. Well, let's see. All right, now what you got?
So like 500, 400, 500 back and forth.
All right, see, that's almost double of what this is. Real. Well,
See how big this box is? This is what I'm talking about. This is probably where the batteries are, is in this fucking box he painted.
What can we say to make young people understand they got to get behind this?
I know the clicking is annoying. I apologize. After this video, we won't watch any more videos with the clicking.
First, we ought to say that most people don't use their God-given powers of thinking for themselves.
Oh, boy.
And that this is one time when they really should. I mean, instead of listening to somebody else, just think about what Joseph told you about the size of the battery of the amps that are in the battery.
Do I think he believes this? I think the professor believes it. The inventor, I don't know. You know, because, like, in order to actually make this function, he has to have a battery or something in there. But people are genuinely capable of incredible self-delusion. So it's possible on some level he has convinced himself his process is real despite using a big battery that's hidden. I don't know. I really don't. He's been trying this scam for 50 years. Like, do you stay doing the same scam for 50 years if it never works, if you don't believe it even a little bit? You know what I mean?
Battery that are running this.
It's possible he thinks that his, like, hypothesis is sound, but he doesn't have the equipment to actually try it, so he thinks by fraudulently producing what appear to be successful results, he thinks he can get people with more resources to try it for real? I don't know. I don't know. It's very strange.
Machine, because it is something really different. You don't really have anything to base it on to compare it with the old motors, because they're running on amperage. This one's running on voltage. It's a completely different story. So you shouldn't go to any authorities to find out about it, because the authorities aren't authorities on this. The authority is right here.
You saw that young man try to turn that shaft, and he was straining just to try to move it with one hand from a dead stop. Now that one little battery runs this pump like it ain't spit. That's the magnitude of what you're looking at. Now the motor itself is unbiased. It don't care what you hook it to. If you give it enough voltage, it'll run anything that you want to put to it.
I think you might also point out how almost effortless the pump is working. Sometimes you see a pump working and it's really working hard because of it, but it's so smooth. This really proves them good, if you ask me.
What does he mean it's really smooth? It's a machine. It's really smooth. It's a mechanism that's being powered.
I think this is better than the front. You can tell what's going on here. It'll change the world if we can get it out there. That's all we have to do.
Oh, this guy. He might be good at math, but he's bad at everything else. Spare Keys says, if you want to see a genuinely cool invention that works and is real, Google the vid firing the Lorentz plasma cannon.
Out there. Now, we put an ammeter in the line to see what that current is. Now, this is changing constantly. And most of the time, it's an extreme
on a whole city.
All right, we get it. I'm sick of that noise, so we're going to move on.
These heavy cable Mark's tank.
What? Oh! Well, that's scary. Let's see where that old-timey thing was that someone sent.
Fitted snug weights, strings, and our lives pleasanter and safer. But by far the most persistent dream of inventors has been to get something for nothing. That is, to create a machine that will start itself, overcome all friction, and still have enough power left to do useful work. In short, perpetual motion machines. Now here's a typical example of what I mean. A famous old standby. Of course, you all know that when something is dipped underwater, it seems to lose weight. So this particular perpetual motion machine is designed to have
That's funny.
some of the weights in water and some of them out of water at
Yeah, that's not how anything works.
all times. It's all very simple. And so are you if you think it'll work. But confidentially, I've got one that will work. And if you'll excuse me for a few minutes, I'll show you.
No, Mr. Goldberg, not even your genius is equal to that task. In fact, the United States Patent Office will no...
Wait, is this Rube Goldberg? Is this Rube Goldberg that's drawing? I fucking love that man.
longer grant a patent for the design of a perpetual motion machine because the experts in that office know that you can't get something for nothing. That you can't get power out of an engine without paying for it in fuel.
If it wasn't for Rube Goldberg, one of my favorite horror series probably wouldn't exist. Final Destination.
Fortunately for us, however, man has discovered a virtually unlimited source of power.
Oh, no.
He has paid for that power by years of painstaking research and experimentation. God. That source of power is gasoline.
Oh, no! Well, it is a propaganda video, so there's that. Okay.
The chief...
Alright, we can move on since that's, I assume, the end of the perpetual motion talk.
So all of this was fitting in with the things I had already learned and had thought deeply about, and now here's this guy telling me, well, these numbers are at the basis of an ancient technology. And I said, I knew it! I knew it, yep.
What? This is an interview with Susan Devlin from late October 2024. Randall Carlson details the shelved Joe Rogan experience with Malcolm Bendel. Wow. When Joe Rogan doesn't say yes to you, that's a lot. His first experience connecting meeting Malcolm, how to construct a cosmos with sacred geometry. The slight variations between the ideal and the real. We are the embodiment of the divine proportion. Potential for this technology to build our new world. Okay.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, Randall. Welcome. So good to see you.
It was good to see you.
Yes.
I bet you I think it's better to see you than...
Another shape thing. Are conspiracy theorists like this obsessed with finding some secret truth in shapes because, like, learning shapes in kindergarten was, like, the last real academic success they had?
Than you seeing me.
I don't know about that.
Well.
So you're in town for a conference, and
I'm here for the Hereticon conference over at the Fiena Hotel. My
Nice.
God, what a fancy place.
Is it?
But I got a 7th floor window looking right out over the ocean, so hey.
Beautiful.
What can I say?
Beautiful.
Yeah, but actually I like being here with you guys.
Yes, we like you here.
Okay.
So we're here talking about the Thunderstorm generator.
Ah, yes.
Malcolm, and Malcolm Bendel, of course.
Of course.
Near and dear to our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
So we just want to get your take and how you fit, first of all, how you fit into the picture, maybe how you met Malcolm, and how your experience in sacred geometry has fit into this.
I was into sacred geometry long before I met Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
But in my studies, I was reaching for meaning within what I was studying. And I knew it was going somewhere, but where exactly I didn't
Trey
know.
says, I think it comes from their need to ascribe function from aesthetics, like they find certain shapes calming or aesthetically pleasing or complex, so they assert some greater complexity to the nature of the shape. That's a really good way of putting it. People like this are obsessed with aesthetic, surface level, so that makes a lot of sense.
I knew it had something to do with, like what Sheila was talking about, harmonic resonance. And I, in a very vague way, envisioned that it had to have been some kind of a system of energy control or manipulation, generation, and that was what my instincts told me. And then I began to learn things that led me to more specifically conclude that, yes, this is where it seems to be going. Mm-hmm. And then one day, I can actually remember the first call. There's a large farmer's market near where I live. Mm-hmm. I was going over there to get some food, whatever. I don't remember what I was buying that day. But I get a call in the parking lot, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm in a hurry, I got a lot to do. But I went ahead and answered it. I didn't recognize the number, and I answered it, and it's this man with a, I don't know, Australian accent, Tasmanian accent, I'm not quite sure. And he started just launched in talking about all kinds of stuff, and I'm okay. And then the gist of it was this, that he had seen a video of a lecture that I gave that Brad Young...
Oh no, Nemesaur says, Hereticon is a Peter Thiel-funded conference for those who have committed thought crime. Oh, so like the shittiest people in the world go to it? Oh boy.
Recorded and posted on his series Geocosmic Rex, and he had seen that. And I don't remember, don't know how he got a hold of my contact information, but somehow he did. So he calls me and then to tell me that he had seen that and that he was working on this energy technology that used resonance and frequencies, and it was all based on numbers, and they were the same numbers that I was talking about in this lecture.
Wow.
So I thought, oh, that's very interesting. But then he launched into I sat out there in the parking lot probably for an hour. At the end of it, I was going, okay, what do I make of all this today?
Is it bad that on some level I do wish just in like a Twilight Zone speculative fiction way, I would love to see what would happen if all legitimate scientists and mathematicians and historians, basically everyone that conspiracy theorists fucking hate and resent, if everyone who actually, cared about rigor in their fields disappeared and the world had to try and run with these pseudo-intellectual assholes as the only people, just to see everything fall apart around them as all of their nonsense is proven to be bullshit would be kind of entertaining.
I just heard. So this had to have been, 8 or 9 or even 10 years ago.
Okay.
Well, then, a little time goes by, a few months, and I get another call from Malcolm, and then this sort of became a regular routine, and I would get a call from him every 3-4 months to tell me all these new discoveries he's made. He tells me about his laboratory that he's built on his island in the Maldives, and it sounded pretty interesting, but I wasn't sure, should I be believing all of this? And then, of course, he went into some pretty wild stories, background stories, and I was, okay, well, I don't know quite.
That's most of history. Remind me how most of history has gone so far? Is it really well? No? Oh, fuck.
What to make of all of this, but I did notice this, and I've mentioned this before, that when you're listening to somebody, if somebody, gives you a bunch of BS, typically you can listen to what they say, and then if you
Was Terrence Howard speaking at this conference? I don't know, but he'd be a perfect fit.
Talk to him 6 months or a year later, it's not quite the same story.
Yeah.
The details get rearranged. What I noticed with Malcolm, and I started actually after a couple of phone calls from him, I started taking notes. And what I noticed was the details were always the same. They didn't vary. So he tells me a wild story, and then a year later, he tells me the same story again, and it's exactly the same story. So I started thinking, okay, maybe there's more credibility to this. And so it got to the, well, then what eventually evolved was that, I told him that I was, that I was doing these podcasts. I was doing a lot of podcasts and stuff. So then he tells me that now his notes that he had been working on were all compiled and kind of organized. And that's when he began to tell me that he wanted to open source all of the stuff he'd put together, that he was building, they had built a prototype. And then I think he sent me some video clips. I think the first one that he sent me.
All right, enough of Jerry Garcia. Let's move on. Doo-doo-ba-ba-boo. So much with the Thunderstorm generator today.
Hi everybody. So,
Thunderstorm generator, so hot right now.
I have a bit of a policy. If more than 12 people write to me independently on a subject asking for a video, well, I'll make the video. And this video is about the Thunderstorm generator by Malcolm Bendell. I guess it had some publicity somewhere because a lot of people have written to me. But before we get into Malcolm's invention, what I want to do is remind you of this. It's the GEET processor by Paul Pantone that he developed in 1987 and in 1998 got a patent on. If we look at it, we can see some remarkable similarities, but let's have a listen to what Paul says about it.
Utah inventor Paul Pantone has developed what he calls the GEET fuel processor, a plasma generator similar to a super carburetor that actually
The plasma thing isn't even new. There you go.
appears to run on 80% water and is entirely non-polluting.
Oh, is this similar to the water-powered engine stuff?
Device replaces the carburetor and exhaust and combines them as one unit, whereas this end of it acts as a miniature refinery, allowing the engine to run on everything.
I'm actually not sure. I might have accidentally grabbed someone who wasn't. This guy might be a debunker. Let me take a look. Look at his channel video and see.
Hi, so this is a question I get asked a lot. What is your channel about? I mean, somebody posted your channel is about doing stuff and giggling like a moron. That's a fair enough comment, I suppose. But to me, the channel's actually about empowerment. Now, empowerment is one of those things where you can do lots and lots of stuff. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do that stuff, but I think you should be able to do that stuff if you choose to do it. And that is what the channel is actually about.
That's
and of course,
vague.
empowerment means more. Empowerment involves creativity, experimentation, a bit of a get-up-and-go attitude, a can-do attitude.
Okay, maybe he is just also crazy. Who knows?
Battery
I guess we'll see. H-Bird says, to be fair, back in the 70s, rivers were so polluted they would sometimes catch on fire, so you might have actually been able to run an engine on water.
acid and water mixed to crude oil right out of the ground. The exhaust coming down goes around and comes out here at the far end. The center chamber draws some of the heat from the exhaust, plus this tube takes some of the exhaust gases, takes them up into the chamber and bubbles them down to the bottom. The bubbles, as it comes through the fuel, are brought up to the top of the chamber, picked up through a tube, and fed up the center of the exhaust pipe. While they're being fed up the exhaust pipe, they are in a vacuum, and there's a heat exchange which occurs. This process has been argued a few times to be either a plasma field, an electrofield.
Paul passed away in 2015, and that was after spending some time in prison on 2 counts of security fraud that he...
Well, that'll do it. The Perpetual Motion scammer also did financial crimes? I'm shocked.
He pled guilty to. Then they moved him
Wait, Terrence Howard went on Russell Brand's show? Okay, we probably have to cover that for tinfoil. That's gonna be dog shit.
to a mental home, and he was eventually released. But put all that aside, what I really want you to notice is what he described his machine as, that is a plasma-based generator, and what the structure of it was, that is one tube inside another. Now let's have a look at Malcolm's machine. So here's the machine itself. It's composed of 3 parts. There's an ionisation chamber that the air enters through by the pull of the vacuum of the engine. There's a bubbler, although they don't call it that. They call it, I think it's the Plasmoid generator. And then there's the generator section itself, which is the red bone-like thing here.
Okay.
Let's have a better look at it. The first bit is what they call their ionisation chamber.
I'm leaning more towards he's debunking this now, which is interesting. Here's a link to this guy's channel if he is in fact debunking this. I do want to watch it though, because like, I'm not an engineer, so having an actual person who knows engineering pointing out why this is all stupid, pretty good.
It really is just a chamber in which you put a UV light bulb. They recommend a 25 watt by 300 nanometers UV light bulb that is mostly used to keep lizards warm. You stick that in the chamber and the air is sucked through by the vacuum of the engine, and it's supposed to ionize it as it passes through. So the bubbler, or the plasmoid generator, it's basically just a tube filled with about 1.5 litres of water. At the bottom there's a stone. You actually buy these for fish tanks, aquariums I think, and they are bubblers. So they bubble the pre-ionized gas through them. I think it's on the piston upstroke, and on the
okay, it is steel wool.
Stroke, then these bubbles are supposed to collapse, and that's where the plasmoids are formed. And then of course the engine's repeating and the vacuum is drawing all of this stuff into the actual Thunderstorm generator section itself. If we look at the drawing, what we'll see are 2 tubes, one nested inside the other in exactly the same way that Pantone did. But instead of having elbow joints like Paul, what we've got here are these spheres which are referred to as flow guides. The basic machine is, as I say, one pipe slid inside another pipe. The big deal seems to be about the spheres and the sphere arrangement. These spheres nest inside each other, and there are 3 of them. The inner yellow sphere actually isn't apparently strictly necessary, just acts as an inner flow guide, and that has a little bit of a prong welded onto it so it can sit in the center of the blue sphere. The blue sphere allows the pipe to go in and out, and the yellow is supposed to act as a flow guide, and then the red sphere encloses that, so the whole thing makes a joint. To put that together, when we have the yellow spheres first, these are apparently our 2-inch spheres. We put a support on those spheres and weld those inside the blue spheres, which are apparently 3-inch spheres. At the end of those spheres we put on a spigot so we can actually join it to something, and then between those another pipe. The red spheres go on and the red pipe goes on. The red pipe slid on before you put the blue pipe on, clearly, otherwise you won't get it to fit. And that replicates the drawing. Then all we actually do is put the unions on so that they will go to the exhaust, and that's the device finished. So with the exception of the spherical joints and the addition of this UV ionization chamber, I would say that this is pretty much a replication of Paul Pantone. I mean, they have changed the name. Instead of calling it a plasma generator, it's called a plasmoid generator.
So he didn't even come up with an original bullshit device? He literally plagiarized it from another scammer in the 90s? This city deserves a better class of criminal. This is bullshit, man.
I suppose OID make all the difference, but when I look at it, I'm pretty much convinced that this is the geek processor that has been dressed up a little bit. So the big question, could this actually work? Well, let's have a look at it in parts. Let's take this UV ionization chamber to start with. Now, the recommended thing to put in there is a 25 watt lamp, and the UV range is 300 nanometers. Now, the problem with it being an air ionizer is UV is renowned as being a non-ionizing radiation. It won't ionize anything. So the air in there isn't going to get ionized. It's 25 watts is also a piddling amount of power, so the only thing that would happen with the ionization chamber is if you put a lizard in there, it would get slightly warm. A plasmoid is a plasma held together in a coherent shape by an external magnetic or electrostatic force. A plasma is just a group of charged particles, so a lot of electrons will form a plasma, and an example of that is lightning. A lot of ions will form a plasma, and an example of that is the sun. But basically, you need two things. You need ions, and you need something to hold them together in terms of a magnetic force and an electrostatic force. If you have those two things, then you can form a plasmoid at room temperature. Clearly, none of those things are present in the bubbler, but luckily, there is another way to form a plasmoid. You form a plasmoid in a liquid if you subject it to extreme hydrodynamic shear. This happens all the time. It happens in ship propellers. When you have a body of water and you put a large shear...
Someone says skip, so I'll skip it. That's fine. I would like more crazy. Do we want... That's AI, though. But I do like the Maxwell Chikumbutso stuff. Do you guys remember Maxwell Chikumbutso? He's the guy from... Gosh, where was it? What country was it? A country in Africa. I forget which one, but he's doing scams and he's basically pretending to be Iron Man.
Yo, I and Dr. Cool, Zimbabwean inventor Maxwell Sangolani Chikumbutso has re-emerged on the public stage, breaks the silence as his supporters and die-hard fans of Ho's groundbreaking technology eagerly asking about Ho's sudden disappearance like he used to, but TGO's time with mixed feeling. Maxwell Chikumbutso is bringing with him a wave of renewed hope and optimism for Africa's energy future. Known for his groundbreaking inventions, especially his self-powered generator, electric car...
The generator, this video we actually already saw, so I'm not gonna make you watch that again. But, basically he buys shit off Alibaba and just scams and says it's, like, propelling generators, it's perpetual energy. And I think he actually met with the president of Zimbabwe, so his scam is quite successful.
And there are 5 important things to take away from the unveiling. In this video, we are going to be breaking down all 5. If you don't know who Maxwell is, he is a Zimbabwean inventor who made a microsonic energy device that claims to power your car or house using free energy, so you don't have to use petrol or conventional electricity. If this invention is true,
yeah, there's the generator. We actually looked this up when we covered this guy the first time. You can find these on Amazon. It's just a normal, like, battery thing. You can charge it up and take it camping with you and have a source of energy. It's just a battery, basically. This isn't even a generator. It's a battery pack, basically, for emergency power.
It can change millions of lives and destroy entire industries like the oil industry. But is it true? Well, let's look at some of the key moments from the unveiling to find out. The first and most important moment was the unveiling of the device.
He claims that they get energy from, like, radio waves, and that's how it runs.
The device was unveiled in an enclosed transparent glass, and according to him, he did this so that people can see clearly how the device works.
So now I want to unveil the microsonic energy device, and you are the first people in the world, after Foster Gamble, who are seeing what is the microsonic energy device and how it looks like. The first machine that recharges itself. So this is the microsonic energy device, ladies and gentlemen. This is the machine you are going to see for the first time. This machine recharging itself right now, harnessing energy. It tells you how much energy it is harnessing, in watts form, and how much it is putting in the machine. So I'm just waiting that they can give me something so that I can switch it on. The reason we put it in the glass, we wanted you to see that. I saw that there are a lot of people, they say there's solar panel, I'll get to that. You can see it's not connected to anything.
I don't think it's a solar panel. I don't even know if this device does anything. So far, you haven't shown anything. It's literally just a bunch of stuff in a box. You could have gone to a fucking Radio Shack, if the Radio Shack was still open, bought a bunch of shit and glued it together.
It's okay. The microsonic energy is now on. It's analyzing. You see, it's charging itself.
You can tell because there's a little screen that has a battery that's doing a charging animation. You couldn't fake that. You can't just have a battery on a low power LCD screen programmed to do that animation. The animation's doing it. Would this animation lie to you? It's a Raspberry Pi LCD. Oh, that's so fucking funny. That's hilarious.
So as you can see, the battery is now going up. You see?
You see? The screen says it. It must be true.
This device can last for 20 years.
Yeah? Based on what, sir?
We are privileged that we are the first people to have this solution in the whole world. I'm so happy. I've got friends who came from Sweden, from Switzerland. I am so happy that I've got friends who came from the United States of America to just support us.
I like that all of the pictures are people being very unimpressed and skeptical looking.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the microsonic energy device. Now the power is in your hands. You don't need a grid anymore. You don't need any external charging system. As long as God is still alive and the radio waves are still there, being emitted.
Hey Lilith, good to see you. Let me copy that so I can paste it into like YouTube. I don't know if I'll be able to find him, but I can try.
From the galaxy.
Let me look real quick and then we'll get back to that video. Okay. Looks like he has some stuff. I don't know if any of it's in English, but I can look.
Sun, you still have your energy. This is free energy. So if you hear people saying there is no free energy, there is free energy. We have violated the natural law.
Secondly, he explained the motivation behind his invention, which is solving the energy crisis in rural areas.
I still remember very, very, very well that one day I saw a vision when I was at a community. Then people were dying. And someone was telling me that, you see, people are dying because there is no medication in this area. These diseases which are killing these people are treatable, but the medication needs to be in a refrigerator. There is no energy.
It really pisses me off that he's like pointing out real problems for places that are less like served and have been like victims of colonialism, but he's just scamming them. Fuck him. Fuck this guy, man.
That is the day God gave me the vision of harnessing natural radio waves, convert them into pure energy. And I'm proud to say that today we are the first people who have done that in the world. Like us or hate us, that's a fact. We have seen it, we have tested it. It was tested outside the country. It works.
The third key moment was the demonstration of the device. The device was demonstrated in a
The device wasn't demonstrated. Fun fact, these are Chinese electric vehicles that have nothing to do with his thing. He just claimed they were running off his machine with no evidence that that was the case. It's an electric bike and it's an electric car, but they were charged like normal electric bikes and cars.
controlled setting, powering appliances, but not in a long-range car test. However, he later suggests plans for a public driving test.
Our car is the first car. This is a generator. I think if you can go to the fridge, you can see it's going to plug in and you will see that the fridge is going to be powered by a car.
Yes, electric cars sometimes have plugs that you can use them like generators. That doesn't mean that his thing is powering this. It's just an electric car he got from China.
Like I said, you can buy a car. You don't need to have a generator at your home. You use your car.
So is the microsonic device?
What we have done, like we said, the microsonic energy device, is the invention that we have done and we are trying to protect it. We have embedded it in the vehicle. Okay. Yes. And it has got a self-destructive technology. On the 150 wires on this car, if you try to tamper with 5 of them, which we classify, you destroy the microsonic energy device.
That's a good cover if anyone tries to steal your scam car. Oh, it doesn't work because I rigged it to self-destruct. Come on.
Both the software and the hardware. That's how we're protecting the technology, because we couldn't get a patent.
The fourth key moment was him talking about why there is no patent.
So I'm very happy when I see this machine. It was a very long journey, like I said, not easy to walk. Trying to protect it, we tried to file a patent. It was not easy. Went as far as London. It was not easy. People would say, these guys are crazy. How can you say that we can violate the natural laws of physics? I'll tell you something that is very interesting. There was a war that happened between Nikola Tesla and his employer, Edison Thomas. Edison Thomas was busy making DC generators, and the whole of New York was crowded with wires. It was so dark. Nikola Tesla managed to invent a technology that can transmit energy with thin wires on a very long distance at a very, either you increase the frequency or you decrease the frequency. It depends where the energy is going. Edison Thomas had to take elephants and executed them, just trying to prove that it was dangerous. But Nikola Tesla stood, and today he's known as the father of electricity. Why I had to say this, I wanted you to understand there was a misconception. We don't make cars when energy, new and renewable energy company. We make solutions that can change any car, being it Mercedes-Benz, being it Hyundai, whatever car that we have.
Oh, I agree, Lilith. It's fucked up. It's fucked up.
That we can think of. We can.
Why you gotta bring up Topsy? We'll say, "Oh, Topsy at her autopsy."
Retrofits, where you can just buy the kits, convert your own car, then you know that you're okay.
Does anyone else watch Bob's Burgers? No.
That's what we have done.
The last key takeaway from this unveiling was him addressing skeptics. He acknowledges skepticism and states that tests will be conducted soon to demonstrate the technology further.
We'll prove you wrong in an indeterminate future. Take that, skeptics, you stupid bitches.
When people say your microsonic technology can't be proven, what do you say to that?
You know, thank you very much because we did not find ways of protecting the IP, like I said. From 2015 to 2024 right now, we have been working. Costa Gambo has been the first foreigner to have the privilege of working on the machine for those 7 years. So right now we have put in a number of tests that we're going to be doing soon after this launch. As you know, in science we say prove it. It's not about argument, prove it. So we drive our car to Cairo, live on TV, everyone watching. That will be enough. And right now we're doing this because we are now on the commercial level.
So with all of this, are you fully convinced that this is a free energy technology?
No. Oh, and that's the end of the video. That was quite sudden. Oh.
This could be the beginning of humanity's greatest technology.
What?
For
Hold on, this had something about Elon Musk in it too. Did they get a fake Elon Musk AI to say something? That'd be pretty funny.
doing so, it quietly
No, lame. Have you seen the scams where they use AI Elon Musk? It's pretty funny.
Washington is securing its land, seas, and skies like never before, but it seems like space too is on President Donald Trump's list. His ambitious Golden Dome, with Elon Musk unveiling build America's critical satellite network.
Beijing has just taken a commanding lead. Chinese scientists have created temperatures 6 times hotter than the core of our actual sun, potentially unlocking unlimited clean energy while Western competitors fall behind.
In the United States, Tesla continues to dominate headlines, with Elon Musk unveiling one groundbreaking innovation after another.
The ones where he tells you to invest, yeah, or it's like, I have a new product, or I have a new whatever. It just gets used for lots of scams.
Across the world, China is silently reshaping the landscape of technology and innovation, challenging not just industries, but global currencies with bold strategic breakthroughs. And now, Africa was on the brink of rewriting the rules of the energy market.
It wasn't. It was a scam.
Zimbabweans are capable of spearheading game-changing, first-of-a-kind innovations that challenge the world's traditional ways of doing things. President Mnangagwa said no one can take away that capability. He said this earlier today when Zimbabwean innovator and inventor Maxwell.
I see Zimbabwe local news is just as open to publishing any bullshit feel-good story, no matter how much of an obvious scam it is, just like in America. That's nice.
Chikumbutso paid a courtesy call showcasing his latest invention of the world's first self-powering vehicles and motorbikes that run just on radio waves.
A Zimbabwean inventor, Maxwell Chikumbutso, introduced a self-powering electric vehicle, one that could run indefinitely without charging or fuel.
We've never seen evidence of it, but AI voices sure seem excited about it.
Nothing, no fuel.
First in the world.
The first in the world.
This is power from the sky.
Yeah, from the radio frequency.
A device that promised to pull energy straight from the air, bypassing the global energy empires built on oil, gas, and electricity. For a moment, it seemed inevitable. Africa was poised to lead a new technological revolution, unlike anything the world had ever seen.
A true free energy device that keeps batteries consistently charged.
Oh, this guy's a Nepo baby who's, I forget what fortune was he the heir to? Was it Johnson & Johnson or something fucking stupid? This guy's a Nepo baby who was born to a rich family and now he's into all sorts of woo-woo bullshit.
It took me several months to find him, but when I did, it blew my mind.
It was a story that electrified the world. A man from Zimbabwe daring to defy the laws of physics, with a vision of a future without fossil fuels, without charging stations, without limits. Mass production, he announced, had already begun. Sales had reportedly started. The dream was alive. And then, silence. No major headlines, no global rollout, no mass adoption, no celebration of a future once promised.
I wonder why.
What happened to Maxwell Chikumbutso? How did a man, once hailed as the harbinger of a new energy era, suddenly vanish from the global conversation?
He was never part of the global conversation. What are you talking about? H-Baird with 40 bits says, this is just the engine from Atlas Shrugged, except in that book it was just a metaphor for entrepreneurship, not something that could be made in real life. Yeah, that's true.
Welcome to Win Africa.
We're gonna take our perpetual engine and leave.
As
Good, leave. Fucking leave. Long-ass speech-giving, bitch.
Journey deep into the rise, the breakthroughs, the strange silence, and the unsettling forces that may have conspired to bury one of Africa's most astonishing technological stories. Maxwell Chikumbutso's story reads like a modern fable. A boy from the townships.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have a hypothesis that, like, Maxwell himself puts out this shit about him to build a mythology to scam people or something. Because, like, all of the videos, virtually all of the videos about him are AI. So, like, I'm genuinely wondering if it's just him. Is it just him making these videos about himself?
of Harare, dropping out of school at 14, yet dreaming of reshaping.
Is that why right-wing wingnuts are obsessed with perpetual motion machines? Are they? I've not heard of that as a trope.
The world's understanding of energy. Despite overwhelming odds, he created a cordless television, a
He didn't. There's a battery in it.
helicopter prototype, and a free energy-powered generator.
Are there even electric helicopters, like, in general? Like a real, you know what I mean? Like, a helicopter is incredibly energy intensive. Like, I'd imagine even more so than an airplane, because an airplane, in theory, if the engine shuts off, it can glide for a while. Helicopters gotta move constantly. I feel like I would not want to hang out in an electric fucking helicopter.
And most famously, a self-charging electric vehicle powered by radio frequencies. Unlike Tesla's EVs, which require charging stations and lithium-ion batteries, Maxwell's invention defied logic.
That felt like some kind of, like, weird shade thrown at Tesla. Oh, you use batteries? Stupid battery bitch.
Car that never needed to stop for fuel or charge. In 2021, his greener power machine was unveiled, a portable device said to power homes, schools, and even vehicles without conventional energy sources. International attention followed. Interviews, invitations, investment offers. American billionaires came knocking. Governments took notice. And yet, amid the excitement, dark clouds were forming. Maxwell's success story took a chilling turn. According to reports, he survived an alleged poisoning attempt that tragically killed a close friend and supporter.
We were poisoned at that time. Dr. Teddy didn't make it. He died in January 2017. I survived by the grace of God.
The attack raised urgent questions.
I am not saying that Maxwell Chikumbutso murdered a business partner who was aware of the scam. I'm just saying it's very interesting that his business partner was poisoned and died. And Maxwell was also poisoned, air quotes, but he survived. That's interesting, isn't it? I'm not saying Maxwell Chikumbutso killed his business partner because he knew this whole thing was a scam. I would never say that. That's a conspiracy theory, and we all know I'm definitely better than that. So I would never say it!
Who wanted him silenced? What did they fear? Maxwell's technology posed an existential threat to trillion-dollar industries. The oil and gas empires, electric vehicle manufacturers dependent on battery markets, and nations heavily invested in fossil fuel exports. If proven viable, his invention would destabilize existing energy infrastructures worldwide, uprooting economic powerhouses overnight. Unlike many inventors who sold their patents or accepted buyouts, Maxwell refused. He insisted on retaining control over his creations, protecting them for Zimbabwe.
This guy's gonna be a part of conspiracy canon in 20 years. We're gonna be hearing about this guy just like we hear about the fucking water-powered car guy.
And Africa first. This bold stance made him a target, not just of corporate interests, but of shadowy, unidentified forces that preferred silence over revolution. After the initial wave of media attention, a noticeable...
Lance with 100 bits says, yes, that's a very real hospital photo. And did the business partner even exist? It's true that people underestimate the imperial periphery for inventions, but bullshit like this only makes the situation worse. I do believe the business partner existed. I think there was at least photo evidence, but I guess I'm not sure.
Pattern emerged. Maxwell Chikumbutso's name faded from mainstream headlines. Reports about further demonstrations of his technology became scarce. His social media presence diminished. Whispers circulated about gag orders, secret deals, and threats. Some allege that high-ranking officials pressured him into keeping quiet. Others speculated that
I think enough people just got onto his scam. I think the worst thing that ever happened to him was that, like, publicity event with the president of Zimbabwe. Because some people definitely saw that, like, were like, and probably gave a call to the administration and were like, that guy's a scammer.
investors.
I imagine he got a little too much publicity, and he needs to go wait for things to cool down before he tries this again on a smaller scale or elsewhere.
After getting access to the technology, opted to bury it to protect existing industries. Attempts to independently verify the full capabilities of his inventions were hampered. Demonstrations were restricted. Technical documents were tightly guarded. Skeptics labeled it too good to be true, without comprehensive debunking or confirmation. It was as if...
I mean, yes, that's not how burden of proof works. And this isn't a too good to be true thing. This is a literally defies the laws of physics as we understand them. The only thing I can think of that can be powered, like, by radio waves is those, I think those crystal radios, is that what they're called? They have the really long antennas. And they have very low power needs, and they still require an incredibly long antenna to get enough, you know, radio waves to help power them or whatever.
If the world
not gonna work for a fucking car.
Wanted to forget, but why? Maxwell's story is not unique. Throughout history, African innovators have faced immense barriers, lack of institutional support, intellectual property theft, systemic underrepresentation in global tech.
What intellectual property theft has happened to, like, small I'm not trying to shit on people who want to do engineering and inventing, especially in, like, nations where there's less, like, education and support for things like this. I think these people have, you know, just as much potential to do great things as anyone else anywhere else. They just don't have the access to the education and resources that they should. But frankly, as I've discussed previously, the low-hanging fruit of science and engineering has been picked. There's very rarely, if ever at this point, a single person that invents some new revolutionary thing. It's usually groups of people working for universities or private companies. Like, it is virtually impossible as a single person to have the resources or intelligence to come up with these new paradigm-shifting things, because you're competing with teams of very intelligent people who are doing so for money. Like, it's just... we already picked the low-hanging science fruit!
Tech media. Suppression of breakthrough technologies that threaten global status quos. When innovation arises from Africa, it is too often met with skepticism rather than investment. Maxwell's...
I mean, you should have skepticism before you give money to something. Maybe take note of that, VC people throwing money at AI.
plight highlights a deeper issue. A global system that is not designed to embrace disruptive ideas from unexpected places. If a breakthrough as seismic as free energy vehicles emerged from Silicon Valley, would it have been silenced or
it would certainly be laughed at. Again, if someone claims they have a perpetual energy machine, yes, they will be laughed at.
Celebrated. While some critics argue that Maxwell Chikumbutso's invention might be fake, pointing to years of promises without mass production, we must remember that for innovators like him, this is a matter of life and death. Chikumbutso already survived an alleged assassination attempt that claimed the life of his close friend, a tragedy that would have made most people abandon their mission. Yet, he continues to strive against the odds. Beyond public pressure, there's the constant threat that foreign entities could buy, dismantle, and claim ownership of his breakthrough. Rushing the release could be a fatal mistake. Careful, strategic planning is essential to protect the technology's
This doesn't make any goddamn sense. If you invented this device, you know what would save your life? Publishing its schematics everywhere you can, every forum, 4chan, fucking put it up on torrent websites, hiding it gives incentive to murder you. Your narrative doesn't even make sense. And if your concern was making money, frankly, even if you didn't have a patent on this, but you invented a perpetual energy machine, you're going to get book deals. You're going to get movie deals. You would still be rich. So it only makes sense for him to shut up about this if he's literally scamming people, which we know he is.
Future, even if that plan takes years to fully unfold. The uncomfortable truth may be that innovation is not just about what is possible. It's about who controls the future. Recent investigations suggest that Maxwell continues to work quietly, away from the media glare. There are rumors of private collaborations with select African governments, quiet development of residential energy devices, invitations to participate in international science expos, though often declined for security reasons. Some say mass production plans for his greener power machines are moving forward discreetly to avoid attracting the wrong kind of attention. Others believe his technology has been suppressed or even seized by private interests. The truth remains elusive. One thing is certain. Maxwell Chikumbutso's vision has not died. It has merely gone underground, waiting for a time when the world is ready to listen and ready to accept that a revolution can rise from places the world least expects. The strange silence surrounding Maxwell Chikumbutso
It's quite a picture to choose for your brilliant inventor, right?
serves as a powerful reminder. Revolutionary ideas often face the fiercest resistance before they change the world. Whether suppressed, protected, or still in development, Maxwell's breakthrough represents a possibility too powerful to ignore. A future where energy is free, clean, and accessible to all. And maybe, just maybe, the next time his name echoes across the globe, it won't be met with silence, but with the thunderous applause of a world finally ready to embrace change.
Oh, fuck off,
Until
man.
then, the story of Maxwell Chikumbutso remains unfinished. When Africa will be watching and waiting. If this story inspired you, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. We'll be following.
I cannot wait for him to come back and try some other fucking scam.
It's absolutely...
There's a whole hour and 20-minute documentary we didn't get to today that's about a perpetual motion machine, but I do want to get into it, because that's probably pretty good. Let me make sure I save this. Alright, so, thanks everyone for hanging out today. Like I said, tomorrow is going to be a regular stream and a patron/YouTube member only stream, so if you want to be a part of that, make sure you join patreon.com/HannahReloaded or become a member on YouTube. Love you too, Mr. Blast. Let's see who we're going to raid on Twitch. I have D&D in a little bit, so I gotta go make some food real quick and get ready to roll some fucking dice. I also found my physical dice. I've been using the D&D Beyond app to roll dice, and I found my physical ones, so that's good. Oh, Angel Eyes, thank you so much for gifting 10 Tier 1 subs. Thank you. Depraved Ambiance says, I'm glad this stream is over. Thanks, Hannah. I hated it. You don't have to watch if you don't like the subject. I do lots of streams. I get it. Not everyone's gonna like every stream. I respect that. You know? You can't bat no one bats 1,000. Hope I had fun at Pride. I ended up not going. I am not feeling good today, so. How do you tip me? With this link. You already gifted me subs, but yeah, if you want to, there's the tip link. It's hannahreloaded.com/tip. Alright, so let's see who we're gonna raid. Oh, how about thanks, Internet?
Sorry.
Oh, it's playing Date Everything. People said I should play Date Everything on stream. Maybe I will. It looks funny. Alright. Have a great night, everyone! I will see you soon. I'll see you tomorrow. And, stay cool. Be cool about fire safety. Or whatever. Bye, everyone.